And we are live. What's up, guys? Welcome to Fed It. I am back, man. I'm here with a special guest. Well, not really that special. You guys are used to her at this point. But today we're going to be covering the Murdaugh murders, guys. I know you guys have been waiting for this one for a long time. You guys have been asking for it for a long time. So let's get into it.
I was a special agent with Homeland Security Investigations, okay, guys? HSI. The cases that I did mostly were human smuggling and drug trafficking. No one else has these documents, by the way.
Here's what Fed It covers.
Dr. Lafredo confirmed lacerations due to stepping on glass.
Murder
You
investigations.
see him reaching in his jacket. You don't know. And he's positioning.
Been on February 13, 2019.
You're facing 2 counts of premeditated murder.
Racketeering and RICO conspiracies.
Young Slime Life, here and after referred to as YSL. The defendants, 6'9", and then this is Billy Seiko right here. Now, when they first started, guys, 6'9" ran.
So I'm a Fed. I'm watching this music video. You know, I'm bobbing my head like, hey, this shit lit. But at the same time, I'm pausing. Oh, wait, who this? Right? Oh, who's that in the back?
Firearms and violent crime.
AKA Pushaisi violated.
You're ordered to stay away from the victim.
Rapper Pushaisi arrested after shooting at King of Diamonds, Miami strip club, injured one person. This is the one that's gonna fuck him up because this gun is not traceable.
Well, it happened at the gun range. Here's your boy 42 Doug right here on the left.
Okay.
Sex trafficking and sex crimes.
They can effectively link him to paying an underage girl.
I'm gonna lock my fifth amendment, right.
And the first bomb went off right here.
Suspect 2 set down a backpack at the site of the second explosion.
Inspired by Al-Qaeda. Two terrorists and brothers, the Dzhokhar Sarnev and Tamerlan Sarnev.
When the cartels ship drugs into the country.
As this guy got arrested for espionage, okay, trading secrets with the Russians for monetary compensation. The largest corrupt police bust in New Orleans history.
The days of the police are gone.
So he was in this bad boy. We're gonna go over his past, the gang ties, so that this all makes sense.
All right, we are back, guys. First live show in a while, man, and I'm happy to be back. Okay, I see you guys in the chat saying, stop giving a Sudanese stick, blah, blah, blah. Guys, you got to understand that Angie works right before the show, so she came a little bit later than expected, so we still had to gather her stuff and make sure everything was, you know, good to go. But, you know, hey, you know what, Angie, to introduce yourself to the people for those that may be new.
Hi guys. Yeah, my name is Angelica, but most of you can pronounce it well. So yeah, it's Angie for you all, and I'll be helping Myra with cases until he says like, yeah, get the fuck out of here and put your shoes outside, basically. So yeah, I mean, it's been a while. It's been a week since he left from to Dubai, and now he's here. And
It's been almost 2 weeks, right, since we
Almost
filmed
2
last
weeks.
time, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
Because
a
we
week
filmed a
or
bunch of
something.
content for them, but before I left.
Yes.
I think this is the
So
first
we
live
had
show in a
like
while.
the Hezbollah, the terrorist what is a group?
Yeah,
Terrorist group.
yeah. The first successful prosecution in the United States for a
Yeah.
terrorism case.
We also had the BMF highly
Yes.
requested for you guys.
Yes.
Finally, we made it.
Yeah, seriously. That one took a while to find because
Yeah.
the documentary on that one, guys, took a while. So we had to find it in HD because the ones that were on YouTube were trash. But shout out
Yeah.
to the supporter that sent it to me in HD so that we were able to react to it. I really thought that documentary was good. I remember watching it like 10 years ago and I was like, man, the audience is going to love that one.
Yeah. Miranda wanted to do the 50 Cent one because it's brand new and maybe, I mean,
Oh, yeah, we would get a copyright immediately.
Yeah,
if we
exactly.
tried to do that.
Also.
And it's more like entertainment. It's not as factually based as the documentary is. So,
yes.
yeah.
Also, shout out to every of you. This is the thing though. You drop the BMS first and then you drop Hezbollah, and in the Hezbollah video, because it was pre-recorded,
Oh, yeah.
you
yeah,
were
yeah.
asking for the BMF
Yeah,
video.
so they got confused.
So loads of people were like offering to send it to you, which was like, well,
Which I
we're-
appreciate that, guys. Thank you
Yeah.
so much. But yeah,
Exactly.
we dropped the BMF one first because you guys were asking for it. You guys wanted the BMF one bad, so I said, you know what? Let me drop that one first, and we'll do the Hezbollah one after. So
Yeah. So yeah, thank you guys for like your support and everything. Thank for everyone that has been sending me like requests on Instagram. I got a lot of people. Like seriously, guys, I separated already like YouTube requests in my list and
Holy.
like Instagram requests on another list. So I have now 2 lists that we basically need to cover, and I have of course highlighted the ones that are like the most.
what are the
requested ones.
most what are the most requested?
Yeah,
now?
I can mention
'Cause
them
I
right
didn't
now.
even see that list. Holy, okay.
Yes, I told you it's long. I wanted you to tell me which ones you have done already. But so far I have Brian Koberger that you already did.
Okay, yeah, I
So,
did. I
yeah.
did the Koberger case, guys. If you guys want, I go into detail on that one too. So go check that one out.
So yeah, guys, I advise you to check the whole channel, so to see if like the cases that you want us to cover, they are not already there, because Myron has covered many cases already. So yeah, do that. And yeah, but like the most requested ones right now are the Atlanta child murders. I told you there is a documentary on Netflix.
The what child? The what murder?
Atlanta child murders.
Atlanta child murders.
Yes.
Okay, that's a new one. I haven't heard that one. Okay.
It's on. I have mentioned to you before, but yeah, it's on Netflix.
Okay.
There's a whole documentary on Netflix, and it's a huge case.
Okay.
The West Memphis 3. Remember we read it last time we
Which
were
one?
here. West Memphis. 3 kids that were found.
West Memphis. Yes.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
That's
the child murderers. Yes.
Yes. I have John Dolph.
Okay. Yeah, young Dolph. Yeah.
It's highly requested.
Yeah.
Aaron Hernandez.
Okay. Yep.
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 John Bennett Ramsey, of course.
Okay, we might do that one tonight for you guys.
Yes. I have Ed Gein. Of course.
Ed Gein. Okay.
Ed
Yep.
Gein. Okay. I've got the one that we're doing tonight, which is the Murdaugh murders. I have the Baseline Killer. Remember I told you about that one?
Yeah. Okay. All right.
I think it's from Arizona.
Yes.
Edmund Kemper, David Berkowitz, and also
Son of Samuel.
there are a lot of people asking like if we are gonna cover cases from outside the U.S. I talked to Myron about it, and he said yes. So of course, like the requests are open for like any cases that you want us to cover. Right now, the most requested one from Canada is Robert Picton.
Okay, that's like their Jeffrey. That's like their Ted Bundy, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes,
right?
the most
That's
prolific. This the most
yeah.
prolific serial killer in Canada. Yeah.
Okay.
So we might cover that one, and also the Italian mafia.
Yes. Okay, because I get asked about the mafia literally every day, guys.
Yes.
The Italian mafia is probably one of the most complex criminal organizations in U.S. history. You got to understand there's layers to it, and there's different crime families, especially if we're going to talk about the 5 crime families in New York City. I'm very well aware of all the crime families and how each organization worked. I mean, hell, I touched on it with the Whitey Bulger case as well. It goes into Massachusetts, into Rhode Island, into California, Las Vegas, etc. So for me to properly cover the mafia, it's going to be a series, okay? And when I say series, it's going to be similar to what I did for 9/11. As y'all remember, when 9/11, I did damn near 6 or 7 episodes. One of them got taken down, which I'm going to put back up for you guys eventually. But the point is that it's going to have to be a series, which means it's going to probably take me 1 to 2 months to do La Cosa Nostra the whole way through, where you guys are able to get everything and understand everything. And I also got to figure out which videos that I'm going to use, which ones I'm not going to use, which ones are going to be live, which ones are going to be pre-recorded. I'm probably going to have to pre-record all of them, to be honest with y'all, because to use certain documentaries, they're going to be lame on it with, copyright and all the other stuff. So it's difficult to live stream that stuff. So I just got to figure out how I'm going to do it, which documentaries I'm going to use. But I've already established that this is going to take easily 4 to 8 weeks to do the Italian mafia. It's coming.
Yeah.
I promise y'all it's coming. I've already started preparing for it to a degree. But if I'm going to do it, I'm going to make sure I do it right. Just like with 9/11. I gave y'all the official story, right? That's in the 9/11 Commission. I went over the FBI investigation in detail. I went over how the CIA found bin Laden. I went over how the SEALs stormed the house. And I also went over the conspiracy theories of, was it an inside job, etc. And there's another part of 9/11 involved with them boys, which I'm going to talk about with Ryan Dawson, okay? There's a reason why a lot of these conspiracy theorists didn't talk about that certain connection, if you know what I'm saying, with them boys. I'm not even going to say it because we're on YouTube, but that's going to probably be Rumble only, for sure, okay? Some of y'all in the chat know what I'm talking about. Angie knows what I'm talking about. But, yeah, guys. So if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it all the way thorough, just like I did 9/11, okay? Unbiased from all perspectives. Angie, anything you want to say before we get into this one?
I also have more cases,
Yeah,
of
go ahead.
course. And also people have been asking nonstop what them boys mean. So can you break it down without being...
No, I can't say it here on YouTube. I can't.
Like, you can describe it, man. Like, you can, like, say a joke.
Say a joke?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of a joke that I can say that won't give it away.
An analogy is something to give away to people to guess.
I think the guys in the chat know what I'm talking about. let's see here if anyone in the chat says people don't know.
No,
I'm looking at the chat.
most people. There are a lot of people that don't know. I didn't know until you told me.
Hey, man.
Well, actually, Myron didn't tell me.
Yeah, you figured it out, right?
Myron just pointed at them like, those are the boys.
Yeah, man. Some people, I see the chat. Yeah, the chat already knows what time it is. The chat already knows what time it is. All right, and the thing is that there was a significant involvement from them boys when 9/11, and we're definitely going to talk about that with Ryan Dawson. Okay, that's going to be Rumble only. It's not going to touch YouTube. I'm not. You can't even say nothing about them boys if you know what I'm saying. So anyway, what are you going to say, Angie?
Yeah, the rest of the cases are real quick here. River Park Towers. It's an RICO indictment on D-Tang. So yeah, that's another highly requested D-Tang. I got you guys. I already mentioned Gabriel Fernandez, I think. I don't know. Gabriel Fernandez murder. Yeah, the Italian Mafia. Yeah, that's it.
Cool. All right. And the 9/11 one, just so y'all know, that's probably going to be on Fresh and Fit with Ryan Dawson. And we're also going to do the Iraq wars. You guys know it's been 20 years since the Iraqi war. We invaded Iraq back in 2003, March 20th to be exact. So tomorrow is going to be the 20th anniversary, man. So we're going to definitely cover that as well with Ryan Dawson. I'm really excited to do that with him. But anyway, I think without further ado, we got almost 1,000 you guys in here. So do me a quick favor. Go ahead, like the video, subscribe to the channel. We're going to cover the Murdaugh case for today, guys. Okay. So what I'm going to do, guys, because I'm going to put detailed timestamps, by the way, for this case in the description for this breakdown, because I ain't gonna lie to y'all. When I was researching this case, it was very annoying how disconjointed people were that covered this case. Like one video gives you this, another video gives you that. No one has everything in one place.
Not even Netflix.
Yeah, not even Netflix.
Yeah,
you
I
know
watched the whole documentary and yeah.
Disconjointed everywhere. Like no one goes systematically through it. So what we're gonna do on this podcast, guys, is we're gonna go through everything. For this to make sense, we're gonna have to go through the Murdaugh family. We're gonna have to go through their legacy. We're gonna have to go through the boating accident. We're gonna have to go through stealing of the money. We're gonna have to go through the fake suicide attempt or slash murder attempt. We're going to have to go through the 911 call, the trial, the lies, everything for this to make sense. Because no one on YouTube, for some odd reason, can organize everything and put it in one-stop shop with timestamps so people can quickly go and find whatever they want pertaining to this case. And this fucking podcast is going to do that. All right? We're going to go ahead and get that done for y'all. So if y'all are watching live, well, sucks for you because you won't be able to skip around. But, but when this thing is done, you guys will have one video to go to that covers this case in its entirety that makes sense of everything. All right? Yes. So anything you want to say before we get into it?
Just right before. You guys, I see you putting requests on the chat, live chat. I will ask you to put on the comments at the end, at the end of the video, or just comments, like regular comments, because that's easier for me to keep track on the requests. Like on the chat, sometimes I'm just talking here, or I'm watching the videos and I cannot see it, so I might miss them. So if you guys can comment and on the way like the video, so yeah, you can do that. Thank you.
All right,
that's
cool.
it.
Okay, without further ado, let's get right into it, guys. All right, so who are the Murdaughs? Okay, the Murdaugh family is prominent in the Low Country region of South Carolina. 3 generations named Randolph Murdaugh served consecutively as circuit solicitor, the elected prosecuting attorney. Guys, a circuit solicitor in South Carolina is just basically another term for ADA, assistant district attorney or prosecutor, okay, on the state level, not to be confused with an assistant United States attorney, aka a federal prosecutor. I've broken this down for y'all before. There's state law enforcement, and then there's federal law enforcement. They were running state law enforcement known as circuit solicitors, which I know is strange. I think South Carolina uses this term, which is a little weird, but it's nothing more than a state prosecutor for state crime. So they investigate, everything from your low-level DUIs all the way up to murder. Okay. Randolph Murdaugh served consecutively as circuit solicitor, the elected prosecuting attorney for the state's 14th judicial district between 1920 and 2006. The family status led locals to call the 5-county district Murdaugh country. Randolph Murdaugh Sr. founded the civil litigation firm that is now the Parker Law Group LLP in 1910 in Hampton, South Carolina, which now specializes in personal injury litigation. Richard Alex Murdaugh and other members of the Murdaugh family have been the subject of investigations involving wrongful death, murder, corruption, fraud, witness intimidation, theft, and drug and alcohol-related charges. 2019, Alex's son, Paul Murdaugh, and some of his close friends were implicated in a fatal boating accident, okay, which we're going to talk about that as well because this all plays into it. But before we do, let's go, and this is the Murdaugh family. As you guys can see, here's Alex Murdaugh right here. Here's Paul Murdaugh, okay, and here is the wife, okay? Maggie. These two were murdered by him, okay? Alex Murdaugh, the father, killed these two. Now, you guys might be wondering, wait, hold on. Why the hell would a father, you know, with a huge family legacy, money, etc., multimillionaire successful, kill his family? Well, for you to understand this, we're going to go through the family history and then into what led to his downward spiral. But to understand the future or the present, it's important to know the past.
The Murdaughs are a powerful low-country family. For more than 85 years, a Murdaugh has served as the 14th Circuit solicitor. The reign began in 1920 with Randolph Murdaugh Sr. and ended in 2005 when Randy Murdaugh III retired. Between 1940 and 1986, Randolph Buster Murdaugh Jr. served as solicitor after his father's death, making him the longest-serving solicitor in U.S. history at that time. Randy continues to work as a part-time solicitor for the office, and his son Richard Alexander Murdaugh works as a volunteer prosecutor in the circuit. In South Carolina, a circuit solicitor is comparable to that of a state or district attorney in other jurisdictions. The 14th Circuit Solicitor's Office covers 5 counties in the Lowcountry: Allendale, Beaufort, Colleton, Hampton, and Jasper, and prosecutes 5,000 cases per year, ranging from misdemeanors to serious crimes such as murder and sexual assault. The Murdaugh family has also practiced law in Hampton County for more than a century. Randolph Sr. founded the family firm in 1910 and practiced civil law until he was tragically killed by a train in 1940. Like his father, Buster worked at the Hampton law firm until his retirement in 1987. He was known across the state for his booming voice, courtroom prowess, and sending 14 men to death row.
All right. So as y'all can see, these guys had a tight grip on this area of South Carolina, and it had been going on for decades, okay? And having your claws deep in the entire law enforcement / prosecution world is a very powerful thing to have in your corner, okay? Which is going to set the stage for the ridiculousness that's about to come after this.
The Murdaugh family legacy of law continues with Buster's son and grandchildren. 3 Murdaughs, Randy and sons Randolph IV and Alex, are practicing attorneys at the firm, and one of their sons is currently attending law school. The firm, Peters, Murdaugh, Parker, Eltsroth, and Dietrich, which now includes offices in 3 counties.
Pimped. Oh, Lord. If y'all caught that, if you see it, you see it. You know what I'm saying? P-I-M without the I. And yes, this is live, guys.
Is known for winning multi-million-dollar settlements for clients, mostly in lawsuits related to serious injuries and wrongful deaths. The firm's expansion has only increased the legal power and influence of the Murdaughs in South Carolina.
And they made a lot of money, guys, from suing railroad companies all across South Carolina. That's a big part of how they made so much money.
A legacy that began more than 100 years ago.
All right, cool. So now y'all understand the history. Now we're going to fast forward to 2019. Okay, with the death of Mallory Beach, okay? At approximately 2:20 a.m. on February 24, 2019, Paul Terry Murdaugh, okay, this guy here, remember, right here, okay?
The guy on the thumbnail.
The son, okay, crashed his family boat into the Arches Creek Bridge in Beaufort, South Carolina. On board the boat at the time of the accident were Mallory Beach and several other teenagers. Beach was killed in an accident, and Murdaugh was charged in relation to the accident. Paul's murdered along with his mother in 2021, and we're going to talk about that as well, allegedly by his father, or convicted by his father. So here is the background on the boat crash, okay, guys, back in 2019.
48 Hours has new details about one of the tragic deaths connected to the family of prominent South Carolina lawyer Alex Murdaugh. 19-year-old Mallory Beach was killed in a boating accident in 2019 on Murdaugh's boat. Murdaugh's son, Paul, was allegedly driving it. Beach's family has been silent on the accident.
Yeah, driving it drunk, a.k.a.
BOMBACLOT!
Until now. For this week's 48 Hours, Nikki Batiste spoke with Beach's aunt and a first responder who was at the scene of the crash.
911, where's your emergency?
We're in a boat crash on Arthur Street.
On February 24th, 2019, 6 young friends were out partying on the Beaufort River.
There's your boy right here.
Paul, yeah.
Okay.
The
And
one
then
with the
this is the
flashlight.
girl that ended up getting killed, Mallory,
They're wearing
and her
couples.
boyfriend. This guy right here in the blue shirt is the one who called 911 that you guys are hearing right now. This is the victim. And here's Paul Murdaugh, as you guys could tell from his bright red hair, very easy to distinguish.
On a boat owned by the Murdaugh family when they crashed. On board was Alex Murdaugh's 19-year-old son, Paul.
What bridge is this?
Anthony Cook was there with his 19-year-old girlfriend, Mallory Beach. Mallory's aunt, Lynn Revis.
The last thing she told me was she loved me.
Just hours before the crash, surveillance cameras captured Paul Murdaugh using his brother's ID to buy beer.
You stupid.
He's holding the beer up. He's celebrating.
Bro.
Stop it.
It's his brother
Get
Buster.
some help.
Yeah, his brother's Buster, who's
Buster's-
older.
Yeah.
Michael DeWitt, editor of the Hampton County Guardian, says later Paul and a friend were seen drinking at a bar on the river.
He pounded a couple of shots, got back in the boat. It was kind of a sad moment when you see Matt.
And there he is right here. This is the guy
They're
that called
so cute,
911.
man.
And also, I want to let y'all know that Paul is an alcoholic, guys.
Yes.
Okay. All he did was rage and party. This is something that he did all the time. Obviously, this is a rich kid from South Carolina. His family is well known everywhere. He doesn't really deal with consequences for his actions, which you guys are going to see here later on. And he grew up with a silver spoon in his mouth, and it shows in his actions. Go ahead.
He is the perfect example of an spoiled brat.
Yes, 100%. If trust fund baby was a term, he is the definition of it. You know, not only does he have the money, but his family has the status and the power in this part of South Carolina.
Mallory, I think it's the last moment that anybody captured an image of her alive.
About an hour later, the boat slammed into a bridge piling. That's when Mallory disappeared.
There's 6 of us and 1 is missing.
Then Beaufort County Deputy Sheriff Stephen Domino was one of the first on the scene. Anthony Cook told him he saw Paul Murdaugh driving the boat just before.
Damn, and y'all can see the blood here, right? So that tells you right there that this was he was probably driving that thing fast to get that kind of, that kind of result.
The crash.
Y'all know Alex Murdaugh? Oh, yeah, I know his name. That's his son.
See, look at him. Y'all know Alex Murdaugh? He's all drunk and shit, slurred his stuff. That's his son. So obviously the deputy knows who he is. The kid knows who he is. Hey, that tells you all you got to know.
That's so driving the boat. Good luck.
Nearly
good luck.
2 months after the boat crash, Paul was charged with causing the death of Mallory Beach. He pleaded not guilty. But the case will never go to trial. On June 7th, 2021, Alex Murdaugh called police and said he'd found Paul and his wife Maggie shot dead on one of their properties.
Maggie and Paul, please hurry.
Wait.
Nikki Batiste, this is all over the place, this case. Are investigators saying if the boat crash is in fact related to the double murder or connected in any way? So the
Hold on, Angie, you have some? Go ahead.
I mean, they don't mention a lot of stuff.
Well, we're gonna what do you mean? What are they not mentioning?
Well, Paul actually the boat crash, Paul tried to blame his friend, the other guy that was drinking with him.
Oh, the boyfriend?
No. There were 3 cops, so there is this thing.
Okay, go ahead.
And it's on all the Netflix documentary, which is like very dramatic. If you guys like drama, you can go watch it. So there were 3 couples, right? And they were all together. So Paul, his girlfriend,
Yep.
the guy, their girl, Mallory. So
Mhm.
Anthony and Mallory.
Yep.
And there was another couple.
Yeah.
Which was his name was Connor.
Yeah.
Connor was trying. So where the accident happened, Paul was driving because he wouldn't let anyone else drive
Touch the boat. Yeah.
So this guy Connor he was he drunk, of course, but he was okay. So he was trying to grab the wheel, but Paul wouldn't let him.
Yes.
So that's what he said.
He kept saying, "This is my father's boat. I'm not letting y'all drive, and none of you guys touch this boat."
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
exactly.
Good
So
point.
when the crash happened, he tried to blame his friend. So he said that he was the one driving all the time. So this is very
That's what Paul said. He tried to blame it on Connor, even though Connor couldn't get a hold of the steering wheel.
Because the thing is that when this guy Anthony called the police, Paul was trying to call his dad. So his dad will do like the whole thing of like, you know, covering the case.
Yeah.
So what he said was like, yo, dad, this guy was driving the boat.
Yeah.
And he crushed it.
I think his grandfather ended up coming up to the ER and telling him to shut up. Yeah, both fathers.
Yes, Alex
okay.
and Randolph, which is the grandfather.
Okay.
So yeah, they all try to blame this guy Connor.
Okay.
So what happened, which is I don't see why they don't mention this in here. Alex Murdaugh tried to cover the whole thing, saying that they would represent all the kids in trial if they blame Connor. You know, not if they blame Connor. They didn't mention like blame Connor, but like, you know, I represent you. Don't say anything. They said they all to their ears like don't say
Secrets
anything.
unlocked.
You know.
Okay. So they were trying to basically bribe them with free representation.
Yes.
Like, hey, we're all gonna, you know, it's Connor that was driving it. My son is responsible. I'll represent y'all, and we'll go ahead and present a story that implicates Connor as the driver.
But the Six Fox like even called the Connor's parents. Alex Murdaugh called Connor's parents. They were like, "Yo, we know what you're like." They didn't say like, "We know what your son did," but like they were like, "We're gonna represent Connor no matter what happens at any cost." Like, I mean, these guys were trying to find Mallory, and they were just worried about Paul the whole time. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Did they ever recover the body? No, right?
Yes.
Oh, they did.
8 days after.
Okay.
They found her dead.
Goddamn.
5 miles away from the crash, like the crime scene.
Her body floated probably
Yes.
in the river for a few days.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. No, good stuff. Good addition there. I knew that he didn't want anyone else to touch the boat because he was like, I'm not lose my boat. I'm not letting you guys touch it. But I didn't know that the Alex went to that extent to cover it up. I knew that they showed up at the ER and they were telling him, don't say anything to the police. And Paul was drunk as hell. He was more concerned with like partying again.
He was flirting with the nurses.
Yeah, he was flirting with the nurses too.
Yes.
Yeah, guys, this is privilege on another level. He was flirting with the nurses. Meanwhile, they couldn't find Mallory or what was going on with her. And then after he got discharged and he got charged, he was back to partying. Like it was crazy, bro. Wild.
Yes.
He was throwing ragers.
The other thing that the way they crashed this guy, like they should check this guy wasn't the one that was driving. It's because he broke his jaw in the accident.
Yeah.
And from the like circumstantial evidence, like from the position that he broke his jaw, it wouldn't be possible for him to drive the boat.
Okay. So
You know what I
basically,
mean?
yeah. So they tried to pin it on Connor, who, right? But the thing is that his injuries were not indicative of him being behind the steering wheel.
Yes.
So there's no way that he could have been driving based on his injuries.
Yeah,
Okay.
thank you for understanding.
Yeah,
that.
no worries. I got
I
you,
was
bro.
struggling.
Yeah, I got you. English is your second language, guys.
Yes.
All right, so let's continue on here with this. Good points there.
Investigators are staying really tight-lipped about a motive, a suspect, but Alex Murdaugh's attorneys have admitted that he is a person of interest in the double murders. But I've spent a lot of time in South Carolina. I talked to a lot of locals. There is speculation that this double murder might be revenge for the boat crash. But here's what's so crazy about this case. There are 6 investigations going on.
Hold on. 6 investigations?
What? What the fuck?
And don't worry, guys, we're going to cover some of them here.
All around the Murdaugh family.
Wow.
We've got the boat crash, a double murder, the death of another teenage boy, a suicide scheme, missing money from a law firm, and the death of the Murdaugh family housekeeper a few years ago.
What does the family think?
Mallory's family?
Yeah.
Mallory's family in a civil lawsuit very clearly says they believe Paul Murdaugh was driving the boat, that he was drunk, it crashed, and their beautiful daughter died.
Nikki, I cannot wait to watch this one.
Yes.
So many
Tune in.
twists and turns. You can watch Nikki's report, the Murdaugh mysteries. Let's get that up.
All right. So now y'all know, right? This is like one of the first like major or one of the early events in the Murdaugh timeline, right? Now, we're going to get into Murdaugh stealing money from the law firm prior to the murders. Okay, guys. And this woman right here was the CFO that was able to ID it and confront him. We're not going to play the entire video, but we're going to play the initial portion. She has a little bit of a weird lisp, guys. Okay. So
The next
yeah, that's all I'll say. Let's go ahead and roll the clip.
line where it says Barrett Boulware took insurance proceeds. This is actually a check that was payable to Barrett Boulware from Southern Fidelity Insurance. And Alec actually endorsed that check. He had power of attorney on that file. He actually endorsed that check, and later we were able to trace it into his personal accounts.
All right. If you keep so they basically gotcha, bitch. Were able to trace it back that he took money from the firm, from clients that he was not supposed to take, and put it into his personal account to fuel, which you guys are going to find out later, his drug addiction.
Going down, the majority of these are forged payment. If you get to Dion Martin, the first line says fake.
Just real quick, I'm sorry to interrupt you. Just going across, though, we've got the client, we've got the civil action number, we've got the category that you were just describing, we got the date the trust was funded, and then we have the amount. Is that
That's
correct?
right.
And the date the trust was funded, what does that category refer to?
That refers to when we found out and did the deep dive into exactly what had happened on each file and deposited the money back immediately into our client trust. So that's the firm actually, as we found these, put money in client trust. We then met with all the clients, reestablished what the correct disbursements should have been, and returned all funds to the clients.
So the firm had to pay.
Guys, let me get this. Let's get this straight. They have to meet with their clients, tell them, hey, just so y'all know, your money's been stolen, but we're gonna go ahead and pay y'all back. And let's see how they actually came up with the money to pay them back.
The money back that you've determined in each one of these cases that Alec Murdaugh misappropriated through the fake forge on this list.
We did.
And this is the prosecutor right here, guys, top right. Obviously, this is Alec Murdaugh right here. And then here is the CFO who is on the witness stand testifying. And this is from the trial in South Carolina.
What's the total amount on this sheet?
$2,841,512.55.
BOMBACLOT! Right. And again, does this represent everything or just a particular category?
Just a particular category.
What? Bro. Yo, my man was embezzling all kinds of money, bro. He was just robbing them blind. 2.8, that was just in like one instance.
Just real quick, I see that says 129.11 for Thomas Moore. Is that supposed to be 21?
Yes. Okay. And that would be the date and the check number of the check that was taken.
I'm going to hand Exhibit 314 up to you. And if you could correct that with my pen here, and then just put your initials next to it, please. Going back to Exhibit 314, if we look at all the check dates on here, we have the earliest one being about August of 2015. Is that correct?
That's right.
And then it continues all the way up to early 2021. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And how he was probably getting away with this, guys, was he was just siphoning money, right, at different periods so it wouldn't be too noticeable. Obviously, he didn't take all that 2.8 million at one time. He was taking money slowly, right, but surely over a long duration of time. So it would not be too visible to the accountants running the books. Murdaugh's kind of like, damn, this is an L for me, bro. They got that money part. And you guys might be wondering, why are they bringing up money in a murder trial, right? It's a completely different crime. Aren't you supposed to be tried for the crime that you're actually being accused of? Well, the reason why, guys, is because the prosecution is trying to frame it where he killed his family, okay, because he had a bunch of issues and his life was spiraling out of control. And about 3 days prior, right? 3 days after the murders, he was scheduled for a hearing where he was supposed to face these issues in a civil court with the money that he had stolen. Okay. So the prosecution theorized that these murders were a part of buying himself some time, because obviously, as soon as these murders happened, right in the beginning stages, before he was named a suspect, everything was canceled. He was put in the victim category, and people didn't really press him like that anymore, you know, between his drug addiction, stealing money, other things that he had done, other criminal activity that he had done, stealing money from the firm, stealing money from clients, stealing money from friends, etc. So it kind of took pressure off him for a good amount of time, because everyone was like, yo, he just lost his family. They had been brutally murdered, etc. So they canceled everything. Fast forward this a little bit.
Yes, we have.
And these are from the records and your investigation into the records at the firm?
That's correct.
And each one of these, has the firm had to make the clients whole because of the defendant's misappropriation?
We did.
All right, I'm going to show you what's been marked as 315, and this is a particular case is Elise Mallory. And just as an example, and see if you recognize that document.
Indeed, this first document is the disbursement, which would have been drafted at the end of the case, that states the recovery, expenses, fees, and payments to clients. Next, we have, this one actually had a payment to forge, so I have a copy of that canceled check. And then the third and fourth pages are where we did our correcting disbursements with footnotes about what had happened and explained everything to our clients when we reimbursed them.
Okay. Let's put that up on the screen real quick. And are there similar documents, supporting documents for each one of these transactions that's on your spreadsheet?
There is.
All right. So this is a disbursement sheet, is that right?
That's correct.
And I didn't
He was addicted to oxys, by the way, guys.
ask you, but very quickly, tell me what a disbursement sheet is and how they're supposed to work.
So disbursement sheet just shows at the conclusion of a case, once the recovery, it will show the recovery amount, list out the fees that were sent to the attorneys, shows fee splits if there's multiple attorneys, shows the amount of expenses we collect back, any liens or loans that were payable that were in the scope of that case, and then the final amount would be the payment to the client or the client's beneficiaries if they had beneficiaries.
All right. And then down here at the bottom.
Well, guys, he didn't he didn't spend $2 million plus on just drugs. I mean, you got to remember that they lived a very luxurious lifestyle. You know, they had multiple homes, big mansions, boats, luxurious items, a bunch of liabilities if I want to keep it 1,000 with y'all. So, and at the time, he was kind of a disgraced attorney. So he wasn't probably making enough money to keep up with his lifestyle, okay? And anytime that happens, well, you end up keeping up with the Joneses, and you're gonna have to, you either got to get the money, you know, legally, or in this case, illegally. And that's what he was doing. And also he had his drug habit. He had to pay for his son's defense counsel with the boating accident. He had people suing him. His life was spiraling out of control, guys. So people do desperate things. Desperate times require desperate measures sometimes, and this is the greatest extent to desperate measures. Stealing money from his own law firm.
Particular one, do you recognize that signature?
Yes, that's Alex.
Okay. And going to the second page, what is this right here?
That is a copy of the check that was payable to Forge that you saw on the bottom line of that other disbursement, as well as the back of it showing the endorsement.
All right. And is that the real Forge or the fake Forge?
That's the fake Forge.
All right. And then what is this document right here?
This is the correcting disbursement. The yellow totals would signify what the correct amount should have been and the corrections that would needed to have been made.
All right, going back to this first page, in this particular one, how much was the recovery?
$183,528.
All right, and then was there an
BOMBACLOT!
attorney fee taken from PMPED?
There was an attorney fee taken. In this case, it was $30,000, which was a reduced fee. We generally get a third or 40%, but there are instances where the attorney will reduce their fee for some reasons.
And do you know why? Who requested the fees be reduced in this case?
That would be Alec would have done that.
Alec did that.
BOMBACLOT!
And so, but those fees got paid to the firm from that recovery, correct?
They did.
All right, great. So the rest of that money went to the client, didn't it?
It did not. It actually went to the fake forge account where Alec stole the money from the client.
Every last bit of it.
Every bit, the 152,866.
That client didn't get one dime until y'all had to make it right.
That's right.
And that's similar to the rest of the examples we have.
It's exactly like the rest.
Been going on for.
So now y'all see how the scheme, basically he would take in a smaller deposit, try to conceal it, make it fly under the radar, which, ended up getting him caught in the first place. But this is how he was able to steal money for a duration of time.
Years.
Yes.
All right. So now that we know the financial side, right? And you guys could go ahead and watch this video. Shout out to Law Crime and Network. Go ahead and subscribe to their channel. Give them a like and subscribe to their channel. Shout out to them. Show them some love. That's just an overview of what's going on. We're not going to watch the entire thing, but you guys get an idea now of what he was doing with stealing money. You guys understand the scheme now. Now we're going to go into how he stole millions from his ex-housekeeper's family in a wrongful death case. Okay, guys. Angie, do you want to talk about this one real quick? Because this was covered in the Netflix documentary, right?
But like at the end, like it's 3 episodes documentary, so they mentioned this at the end, like in the last episode.
I mean, I'll summarize it for them real quick. Basically, this is one of their housekeepers, guys. She ended up, allegedly, of course, right? No one knows the truth here.
Yes.
But she ended up getting pushed by the family dog, falling down the stairs, and then dying.
Yeah.
The family ended up suing and winning the lawsuit. Okay, and Alex Murdaugh was still able to steal the money somehow. I don't fucking know how this guy does this shit. This guy is literally a G at stealing money from people. Okay, I mean, obviously not G enough because he got caught, but this is what this dude does. All right, let's go ahead and get into it here. I'm gonna go ahead and share screen with y'all. This is ridiculous, but yeah.
Okay. Speak up for us because the court reporter and everybody needs to hear you.
This is the son of the housekeeper.
Who was your mother?
Gloria Satterfield.
Gloria Satterfield?
Yes.
And is Gloria still with us?
She's not.
And when did she pass?
February 26, 2018.
Go ahead, Angie. You got some?
Okay, yes. Yes, I just want to mention that this lady, Gloria, was the housekeeper for the Murdaugh family for many, many years. All right. So she actually saw all the kids grow. And Paul was very, very close to her. Right. But many, many people, when she died or got killed, I don't know, were implicating that the one that who killed her was Maggie or Alex Murdaugh, because apparently she knew secrets of the family. So they allege the parents killed her because she knew too much. Okay. So Paul, the son who got murdered, guys, right? Which just to show you guys real fast, because I want you guys to be able to put faces to the names real quick here. Okay. Paul, right here. Okay. Maggie is the wife and Alex is right here. So the rumors you're saying is that Maggie and potentially even Alex were behind her being killed? Okay. Some people said that Paul also will kill her, but I mean, like, people close to the family will know that Paul wouldn't be able to do that because she raised him. Basically, he cared about her. So
if anything, the parents might have an incentive because she knew too much.
Yeah, but the thing is that Maggie called 911 when she died. She was the one who made the call.
Interesting.
So people
just like him when he called 911 when they died.
Exactly.
Oh man. All right. Yeah, I told you guys this case is crazy. All right. let's go ahead and see a little bit of the testimony. Again, we're not going to play this entire video, guys. I'm going to play it so you guys kind of understand the severity of what's going on here, so this all makes sense. All right?
Yes, sir. And who did she work for when she passed?
Alex and Maggie Murdaugh.
Okay. And do you know Alec Murdaugh?
I do.
Do you see him here in the courtroom today?
I do.
Can you point him out?
Yes.
Your Honor, can the record reflect he's identified the defendant?
Um,
I mean, say camera.
yeah, where is he? Where is he?
What was that, sir? I'm sorry.
Pardon?
Point him out again if you would, please.
Right there.
All right.
Right.
Can you tell me what?
And I know this looks redundant, guys, but the reason why he has to point to the person in the courtroom, they need to get a positive identification for the court records. And obviously they're typing stuff up, so they're going to say, let the record reflect that the witness has identified the defendant, and then they can go ahead and get the testimony.
Jacket he's wearing?
A navy blue jacket.
It does.
Thank you, Your Honor. How long did your mom, roughly, how long did she work for Alec? Do you know?
I had to take an estimated guess, 20-something years, maybe, give and take. I don't know the exact years.
2 decades, guys. Holy. That is crazy. Also, guys, do me a quick favor. There's 1,587 of you guys watching the show right now. Please like the video. Subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already. We should be at 1,000 likes. The more engagement the video gets, the more views the video gets. As you guys know, I was gone for almost 2 weeks, still pumping out content for y'all. So support the channel, man. Like the video. That's the only thing I ask. You don't got to spend any money or donate anything to the channel. Just like the video. It's free. And yeah, let's get back into it.
Okay. And slide up just a little bit more. Talk right into that mic. There you go. Just a little bit. You need to get up on the mic so we can hear you. All right. What did your mom do for Ella?
She was their housekeeper. She babysat for them. She cleaned their house, and kind of anything else they kind of need.
Okay. And she'd been doing that for a long time?
Yes.
During the course of that, you got to know Alec and his family to some extent as well?
Yes.
Did you trust Mr. Murdaugh?
Yes.
What happened to your mom?
She fell and hit her head.
And where was she when that happened?
She was at Alice's house in Moselle.
In Moselle?
Yes.
Did she pass right away, or did she live for a while?
She lived for a few weeks.
And guys, Moselle is where the murder occurred, with where the dog kennels were, etc. That's a property that they own, which is right here. This is the Moselle estate here, as y'all can see from an aerial photo. And actually, I think if I'm not mistaken, it's on the market now and under contract.
Oh shit!
These are some photos, right? You got the kennels, okay. 1,700 acres of land. They purchased the Moselle property around 2012, and it's gated. Yeah, these guys got money, guys. Listed for 3.9 million, right?
Holy shit.
So yeah, these dudes got some money, bro. They definitely got some money. But this is where the murder occurred, and where and I think, if I'm not mistaken, it was these steps that she allegedly got pushed down and ended up passing away. So let's get back to it.
Was she ever able to say to you what happened, how she fell or anything?
No, she was not.
After she passed, did you have any conversation with Alec about what to do about it?
I did.
And what was the conversation you had with Alec?
I barely remember, but it's like, let me go out to my insurance company for this or whatever, kind of get these medical bills and stuff paid.
Okay. So he said he was going to go after his insurance company?
Yes.
And get medical bills for your mom paid?
Yes.
Did he say he might get any of that money for you and your brother?
Yes.
Did he say how much that might be?
No.
Ultimately, was there a lawsuit filed?
Yes.
Right. And who did you consider your lawyer was in all of this?
Alex.
At some point in time, did he bring another lawyer in?
Yes.
And what did he tell you about that?
He said, if I understood it correctly, I can't do it myself because it's conflict of interest. I'm going to send you to my buddy, Corey Fleming.
Corey Fleming?
Yes.
Did he tell you anything about his relationship with Corey Fleming other than they were buddies?
Can you repeat the question? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Did he tell you anything more about his relationship with Corey Fleming?
No.
You guys see a trend here, how Alex, what he does is he inserts himself into certain legal procedures so that he can influence it to his benefit. So in this case, his housekeeper dies. So what does he do? He makes sure that he has a hand in representing her son to ensure that he's involved in the process of financial disbursement of funds from an insurance company. Okay, we'll see what happens next year.
After he brought in Corey Fleming, were you still communicating directly with Alec about the case?
Yes.
Who did you think your lawyer was?
Alex.
The whole time?
Yes.
Did he ever bring in a person, or did they ever bring in a person by the name of Chad?
Yes.
And you remember Chad's last name?
Westendorf.
Okay.
God damn it, Chad, coming in and messing it up again, man.
And
takes your girl and your money.
What did they tell you about Chad?
That he should be my PR.
Your PR?
Yes.
Did you ever meet with Chad?
Yes.
Did you meet with him a lot, or just?
One time I can think of.
Alec told you that he was going after his insurance company. Did he say how much that insurance was?
One of them that I know of was like $500,000, and that's the only one.
That's the only one he told you about?
Yeah.
Wow.
Did he ever tell you that there was also an umbrella policy worth upwards of $5 million?
No.
Never mentioned that to you, did he?
No.
So he only told them about the one that's 500K, didn't tell him about the one that was some M's.
I really don't believe this guy actually
Go ahead.
believes that his mom got killed, died accidentally, like from some stairs. It's just
it's naive, but you know, if you go put yourself in his shoes, right? Like your mom's worked for them for 20 years,
25 years,
you know, 20 years plus. You know, you're thinking in your head like they would never do anything. They've paid her, they've taken care of her, they've given her time off. She knows the family. There's no way this could happen. You know what I mean? He probably grew up in the house with them, probably going to Christmas, everything else like that. So he would think like that maybe it was a dog. Maybe it was this dog on some demon time. You know what I mean? Like coming after his mom. And he's, you know, he's a young guy. Maybe he would believe it.
Yeah, but I personally think like he must know something. I don't know. I don't want to put my hands in there, but I mean, he probably knows something as well. His mom actually worked 20 plus years there. Like, it's sus.
Yeah, no, it's definitely sus. It definitely is. Which I think he probably came to that conclusion later on when he didn't get the money.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
But right. I could see how in the beginning why he would trust him.
Of course.
So
makes sense.
Yeah, you know, you got a prominent, rich family telling you, hey, you know, we're gonna make sure that you get this money. We're gonna take care of you. We loved your mom. She was with us. She's a part of our family. Blah blah blah. And even one of Alex's coworkers said that the good thing that he was good at, even though he was a terrible lawyer, was he was a fantastic, as she would say, bullshit artist, in her own words. The CFO actually said that about him during the trial. So I wouldn't be surprised that he was able to con this guy as well.
Yeah.
Right? Tugging on emotional triggers.
Fair enough.
He got that con juice. Pause. All right. Prosecutor gathering them documents.
You got that awkward side.
Trailer company and a medical bill, I believe. And I just wanted
the reason that you sent that to, what that is.
That is a cover sheet that I sent him, Alex.
Okay. And what's the reason that you sent that to Alec?
I got something from the trailer company and a medical bill, I believe. And I just wanted to be sure what I needed to do with it.
You had received some paperwork about your mom?
It was a bill.
It was a bill?
Yeah.
And who did you send that to?
Alex Murdaugh, or the law firm.
All right. And why did you send it to Alec Murdaugh?
Because he said if we got any medical bills, just forward them to him, and I didn't know if I needed to do anything with it.
Because you thought he was your lawyer?
Yes.
All right. And this had your phone number on there, but we blacked it out, correct?
Yes.
So not only is Alex representing him, involved in the entire process, but he's also getting all the bills that are coming in. So he's in control, guys, of what's going on with the entire process. So if he was involved and had some nefarious activity with his mother's
As
death,
time went on, did you have conversations with Alec?
he sees everything coming down the pipeline, which is obviously puts him in a position of power.
Asking him about the case and what was going on with the case or anything like that?
Yes, not very rarely, but every few months or so.
And what would he tell you just generally?
First, it was hard, and like it was making progress, and he kind of left it at that.
He said it was hard, but they were making progress?
Yes.
Did he tell you anything about whether or not you and your brother were to get any money? The medical bills were paid?
Said he was hoping.
Did he give you an idea?
Hey, it's hard, but we're making progress, bro. We're gonna get that money.
Stop the cap. Any idea of the amount?
If I remember correctly, one time he said he's trying to get each of you at least $100,000 apiece.
Each of you, you and your brother?
Yes.
Okay. At some point in time, did your family advise you that there was some media reporting about a settlement in the case?
Yes.
All right. And at that time, had you heard anything from Alec or Corey or Chad or anybody about a settlement in the case?
No.
All right. And what, if anything, did you do after your family? Did they ask you to do anything?
Yeah, they said you might want to kind of follow up on it and kind of see.
And did you make a phone call to Alec?
Yes.
All right. And what month was that in?
I believe the last time I talked to him was in June of 21.
June of 21?
Yes.
Around the time of the murders?
Yes.
And what did you ask him?
I can't believe what I asked him, but it was still making progress and be ready to settle, by the end of the year.
He told you it was still making progress and he was hoping to settle by the end of the year?
Yes.
Stop the cap. Did he tell you that they had already gotten a settlement for $505,000?
No.
Did he BOMBACLOT tell you that they had already gotten a settlement for $3.8 million?
No.
BOMBACLOT. Had he ever told you that there was an umbrella policy for $5 million?
No.
Did he ever BOMBACLOT mention to you anything about Forge?
No.
Did he BOMBACLOT mention anything to you about structuring any settlement?
No.
BOMBACLOT. Did you give him permission to steal your money?
No.
BOMBACLOT. Ultimately, in the wake of all of this, you've come to find out that there was a settlement for $505,000, correct?
Yes.
And it was diverted by Alec Murdaugh, correct?
Yes.
BOMBACLOT. And ultimately, you've come to find out that there was a settlement under the umbrella policy for $3.8 million. Is that correct?
Yes.
Or thereabouts, correct?
Yes.
And a large portion of that was diverted by Alec Murdaugh. Is that right?
Yes.
BOMBACLOT. Did you ever get 1 cent from Alec Murdaugh when he was still before all of this happened?
No.
BOMBACLOT. It took after this happening and it took a legal process for that to happen. Is that right?
Yes.
And ultimately, is it your understanding that he confessed judgment to taking money for both of those? Is that right? In June of 2021, you made a call to him asking the status of this case. Is that correct?
I can't remember if he called me or if I called him, but yes, I talked to him in June 2021.
You talked to him in June of 2021?
Yes.
And there were reports in the media about that settlement, correct?
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. And please answer any questions the defense has, okay?
Bro, W prosecutor. Yo! What the hell? My man was robbing everybody clean. He was taking money from the law firm. He was taking money from his dead housekeeper's son. Settlement money. Say he was going to represent him. My man was stealing all kinds of money. Yo! Holy! All right. Now we're going to get into the 911 call of him trying to fake his own murder / shooting. Okay, guys? It gets crazier. All right? I feel like I'm doing an infomercial here. But, it's like, but wait! There's more! Yeah, bro. Holy.
Hampton County 911, where's your emergency?
On Salcahatchee Road.
Okay, what's the address on Salcahatchee Road?
I'm by the church.
What church? What church are you talking about?
Look how calm he is, guys. Right? He's very calm and speaking kind of low for someone who's about to say what he's about to tell y'all here in a second.
Man, I was gonna say this. Like,
I don't know the name of it with the red roof.
Okay, what end of Circumstantial Road? Because I don't know what you're talking about.
At the Hampton County side.
Okay, what's going on?
I got a flat tire,
Mm-hmm.
and I stopped, and somebody stopped to help me. And when I turned my back, they tried to shoot me.
they tried to shoot me.
What the fuck? Oh, okay. Were you shot?
Yes, but I mean, I'm okay.
You shot where? Where were you shot at?
Huh?
Did they actually shoot you or they tried to shoot you?
They shot me, but
okay, wait, you need EMS?
well, I mean, yes.
I mean, yes.
Okay.
And I'm bleeding a lot.
Yo, like, yo,
I got shot, but
let's
I'm
say
okay.
you are changing your tire, doing whatever the hell he's claiming that he's doing on the side of the road, and someone shoots you in the back, and then they run away and you're bleeding. Would you be calling 911 all calm, like, yeah, you know, I think I need help. I think someone shot me and ran. I'm bleeding a lot. Yeah, can y'all send somebody out here and help me out? Like, no, you'd be like, yo, I got shot. I need help. You'd be frantic.
Yeah.
Right? Like, what the hell is this, bro?
Like, I got shot. I mean, I'm okay, but I'm bleeding. So, yeah, hurry up, please.
Like, what the hell, bro? So, yeah, and this happened, guys, you can see 3 months after, right, the murders back in June of 2021.
What part of your body?
I'm not sure. Somewhere on my head.
Your head?
This guy, man.
Somebody just stopped for me, ma'am. For 911.
Okay, still?
Hey.
Okay, let me speak to him, see if he can tell me exactly where you are.
That church? Okay. Red roof. Yeah, hurry, please.
Okay, about 2 miles from the pedestrian barrel.
Okay, and what's your name? I'm still here. I'm still on the line with you. What's your name?
Alex Murdaugh.
Alex Murdaugh?
Yes, ma'am.
And you see you were driving, you got a flat tire, somebody stopped to help you and they shot you?
Well, they pulled over, yes, ma'am, like they were going to help me.
Okay, stay on the line with me. We're going to get some.
I'm bleeding pretty bad.
Okay. Stay on
St. John's Missionary Church.
St. John's Missionary Church?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And can you give me a description of the person that shot you or shot at you?
Yes, ma'am. I mean, it was
Notice the pausing. You don't really know. He's like, wait, hold on. I have my back to him. So how am I going to say this without implicating the person that I hired to do this, but at the same time come off as believable? And you guys could see it right now. That, you know, that perk hitting. He trying to figure out how he going to do this.
a white fella. I'd say
a white male.
A fair amount younger than me. Really, really short hair. You have an ambulance coming, ma'am?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Stay on the line. I got them on the way.
You think one of y'all can drive me to the hospital? Yes, sir. You want to get the trunk, though, because I got a baby and needs to go in the back. One of y'all could get in this car and drive me? Yes, sir. They're going to drive me to the hospital. Ma'am?
Ridiculousness, guys.
Mary,
What?
can you try and imitate that accent?
Ma'am.
I'm still here.
No.
I've been shot in the head.
On the way. Don't hang up.
I've been shot in the head. I don't know from where, but I'm bleeding a lot. Help me. Even though I staged this with my friend.
for insurance money. I robbed my dead housekeeper's son blind, but I need more money to fuel this addiction. I killed my family, but I need some help right now, bitch. All right. We got to be professional. Keep going.
That was hilarious.
Yo, man. Yo, is it? My man just sat down a lot. Yo, the operator, like, what's going on?
Yeah, it should be cranked. Okay. Okay, now it is.
Bitch, my head bleeding.
911, where's your emergency? Yes, ma'am, I lost you. This young lady is driving me to the hospital. She's carrying you
Y'all bitch ass niggas too slow. She's driving me to the hospital.
to the hospital?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And who is this?
This is Alec Murdaugh. I was on the phone a minute ago.
Okay. All right. They said he said there's somebody's taking him to the hospital. Okay.
Oh, you know what? We got a flat tire.
Got you, 10-12.
Ma'am, I need the ambulance.
You need the ambulance? Okay. Are you still in the same location?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Which way are y'all heading? Are y'all driving down the road?
No, ma'am.
No.
I got a flat tire.
Okay. All right. Sit tight right there, okay? Okay.
Ma'am?
Okay. Yes, sir. We're still here. Hold on. We're dispatching now, giving them information. Where are you at?
I told you like 3 times, bitch. Get your ass over here and help me out. I'm bleeding.
All right, now they're
Fucking
taking me to the
idiots.
hospital.
Okay, so which way are y'all traveling?
We're coming down Saltahatchee Road to the Hampton Hospital.
Bitch, I'm going to the
Y'all coming
hospital. There's
down
only one.
Salcahatchee?
Ma'am?
Y'all coming down Salcahatchee Road to to the hospital?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. They said that they're coming down. They're coming down Salcahatchee Road heading towards the hospital.
Yo, L911
All right, we're gonna keep
dispatchers.
EMS en route to you, okay?
Okay.
Are you coming off of Walterbur Highway?
We'll be at Walterbur Highway in 10 minutes or so.
They said in about 10 minutes or so they'll be at Walterbur Highway. Mm-hmm.
Bitch, I gotta be on the highway on my own because you can't get an ambulance to me. What the hell going on
What kind
over
of
here?
vehicle are you in?
White Nissan Rogue.
It's a white Nissan Rogue.
Bitch, I'm about to embezzle from 911 at this point.
They're clear here, right?
This is ridiculous.
Victor.
Bro, all I'm going to say is none of y'all better get injured in South Carolina in this area. Holy, you ain't getting no help, bro. It's going to be a fatality for you if you get caught in this area. Call 911, bro. Could you imagine if you really got shot in the head and you out here, I need some help. Well, we going to send an ambulance to you. Okay, we going to get one out there. Next thing you know, denied. And you going to meet your maker, bro. It's fucking done for you, my friend. Satan gonna pull you into the hell like, get over here. Bruh. Bitch, I'm dying.
Okay, you still with me?
No.
All right, you still with us?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, we're gonna hold on to the line. Where did it?
I'm dying.
Bro, if you really got shot in the head and you had been bleeding as much as he's claiming, you would have been passed out by now. Like, you would have been done. We've been on this call for what, 7 minutes now? Bruh. Yo, you would have been dead by now. You know what I mean? Gone.
Bruh.
L911 dispatch. Anyone that lives in this area of South Carolina, y'all better never call 911, bro. Y'all better off getting on a fucking horse and get into that hospital on your own, if you know what I'm saying.
You said
Yo,
horse.
you better get on a fucking horse and go there yourself. This shit is trash, bro.
You better get on a fucking horse.
Hey, we're still here. We're still here. Hold.
Even Alex mad right
Yes,
now.
sir. Hold on just one moment.
I can't even apply the suicide attempt, you fucking trash 911 dispatchers.
All right, we got, they're heading out there towards you, okay?
Because you made a person getting to an
Bro,
hospital in a
what the
horse?
fuck, man?
That was easy.
Someone said the dispatch was eating Taco Bell in between. Bro, this is craziness. Someone said, Toe Tax said, I live in South Carolina. Do I got a chance? No, bro. With this type of at 911, you ain't got no chance. Vincent Mid.
And y'all
No
still
chance!
heading down the road?
Go buy a horse. Definitely.
Yeah.
Mr. Murdaugh?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, y'all still heading down the road?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Bitch, because I don't got an ambulance. I'm heading down the road with this random stranger.
And what's a good callback for you, Mr. Murdaugh?
We're at Lightsey Crossroads now.
You're at Lightsey Crossroads now?
Bro.
Low. No.
Okay, Mr. Murdaugh, hold on tight for me, okay?
Hold on. Bruh. We've been 9 minutes and 30 seconds into this call, bro. Yo, if he really had gotten shot, he would
And
be
y'all on Walker
gone.
Highway?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
This is the most ridiculous 911 call I've ever heard. Yo, we dead at this point.
Yes.
We are seriously dead. Like, yo, it's a wrap. It's over.
That was easy.
He dead.
They're on Walker Highway in a white Nissan Rogue. Is the flashers on? Do you have the... No, this time, this was 1017 to the hospital.
Ma'am?
Y'all still on the...
I'm speeding it up for y'all.
Y'all still 17? Do you have your flashers on the vehicle? Is the flashers on? Is the flashers on?
Yes.
Yes. Hotel 12.
Yes, bitch, find me.
That guy's chilling.
They're on Walker Highway.
We see the ambulance, so we can pull over.
Yo, it took them 10 minutes and 53 seconds to see the ambulance, bro.
Highway. They're pulling over. They see the EMS. Okay, y'all stopped?
I see them.
You're at Walter Highway? And where?
They're here.
Okay.
Bro, L dispatch took them 11 minutes to find him. And here's the thing, guys, this is rural South Carolina. Ain't none out there. If you guys know what I'm saying. Like, what the hell is this, bro? Trash. Literally L911. All I got to say after that, bro, is guys, do not get caught out in South Carolina on your own, because you are definitely going to die, okay? Now, here is the scheme played out in court, guys. I'm going to fast forward through this so you guys get the most pertinent stuff, okay? Oh, hold on. It's muted.
No, signal over now.
It's 911 call.
Alex, just go.
Hello. I told him that things were getting ready to get really bad. 10-12.
Okay.
What he said. I don't.
Do you remember what you told him?
No, sir.
And this is when you were in the hospital in Savannah?
No, this is when I was in detox here.
Okay, so you've called him since you, because you went to, we need to worry about for Buster you, so your son would then reap the insurance benefits. And yeah. Okay.
Statutory ban on any suicide exclusion. In other words, if you have the policy work 2 years, you can commit suicide and still collect.
Yep. Okay.
So that's not, now what he thought really doesn't matter, but he may have thought
yeah.
That
still entered into an agreement basically to have him kill you, so your son would then reap the insurance benefits. And yeah. Okay.
Put you in. Is that true? Yes, sir.
So basically, guys, what ended up happening was he staged, okay, himself getting killed in this case, so that the insurance money would go to his son Buster, his oldest son, who's still alive. I think he's right here, if you guys can see, in the back on this side right here where I'm circling. He also has red hair. Okay, so that was the scheme he was trying to do, and he plotted it with his drug dealer friend. It didn't end up working because, as you guys can see here, L911 and L Murdaugh acting skills. All right.
Yeah.
So now we're gonna fast forward, guys, to the day of the murder. Okay. Now, before I go into the actual murder itself and we go over the evidence of that, you know, I'll do a quick little recap. But before I do the recap, I'm gonna read some of these chats that came in because they're piling up. So I'll go through them very nice and quickly. Keep this thing nice and organized. Okay, and timestamps will be up, by the way, as well, where I'm going to go and break down each chapter for y'all. Good podcast and MoVlogs. Why do politically correct nerds always claim that you hate women or that you are happy in life? By the way, WAP, W Rolex. I appreciate it, bro. You guys got to understand that a lot of these young guys don't really understand or know female nature for real. So they're going to go ahead and judge what we do based off their personal experiences, which are limited. So you can't blame them for what they don't know. SNEAKO, stop giving Angie the Sudanese stick and get to work. Thanks, SNEAKO. Not today, though. Michael Meestroke, $1. Appreciate that. Stop the clap. You were in them cheeks. No, I was not, sir. I promise y'all. She had just got here from work. Hey, Martin, have you ever heard of Dr. Sebi conspiracy? I have not. Kev's Garage, Angie
Calladita se ve más bonita.
What does that mean?
You know, that's the phrase that you told me to translate for you the other day. Calladita se ve más bonita. So, the quieter, the cuter.
Oh, okay. Fantastic. Remember? All right. Well, we needed to talk a little bit here, guys. SNEAKO taking a beating online. What's your thoughts on what happened? SNEAKO is more relevant than all of his haters, and he's banned off of YouTube. That tells you guys what you need to know. There's channels that are a lot bigger than him piling on, talking smack when the man is canceled. If that doesn't prove that he's more relevant than they are, I don't know what else does. Z Hawaiian, off topic, but what are the grooming standards for an 1811? Every agency is different, but you can pretty much get away with a beard for most agencies, unless you're like an FBI agent or some shit like that, and you do like, you know, public corruption or, you know, financial stuff, which is boring, or an IRS agent. Michaka lose, okay. Christina belongs to the streets. W. Meyer for leaving her, and that's from SNEAKO, okay. Water under the bridge. Ryan Dawson will be lit. Can't wait for that. W stream L mods. Okay. Yeah, that's gonna be a lit one. W Angie and W Myron's hair. Yeah, guys, my hair is back. If y'all watch other episodes of FedEx, y'all will see how bald I used to be. It's coming in, man. It's coming in. I will have full hair very soon. And a free Penny Hearn and okay. Myron, what hair transplant do you recommend? I need the plug, bro. I got the standard one with the, you know, where they cut your head and then they take the strip and put it on. I got the standard one. What's going on with young Dolph? Can you ask Christina? I got to get the documents for it. Hey, Myron, I'm a 26-year-old criminal justice major. Seeing how it isn't likely that I'll be a professional athlete, any good careers to look into? Yeah, bro, apply for everything. Apply for every police department, every law enforcement agency. Just got the book on Tuesday. Good read so far. I like the video. And can I get a Don DeMarco? Of course you can.
I got it.
Yeah. And guys, get the book.
Myron doesn't hate women, but he will tell you why women deserve less. So.
Bam, there you go. Hardcover version and the softcover version right here. Okay, guys. Both are in stores right now. So go ahead and get the books. Audible is coming very soon. I had to make adjustments to it, bro, because Audible is very picky about certain things. So we had to redo the credits portion, which is stupid because everything else was done. But it should be done. Hopefully, this is the last edit and it'll be up. But book is in stores right now, guys. We're #1 in medical psychology. I think we're like #2 or #3 in dating now.
Medical psychology.
Yeah. Of like sexuality. Intersexual dynamics.
Sexology.
Yeah.
Right.
Sexology. SNEAKO, Angie, stop talking over Myron. You're messing up the audio. She's good, bro. Don't worry.
Sorry.
Jerome, Sartorius Shooter interview was fired. Thank you for all you do, Myron. Stay strapped and be careful, my brother. The other side will continue to demonize and suppress the message. Free the Tates. Absolutely free the Tates, man. We all know they're innocent. Shout out to Sartorius Shooter as well. That was one of my favorite interviews to do. Plumber Mike, $5. Appreciate that.
Adam Russell 39 goes, Big Brother Myron, when you going to do an episode about quit prawn and no fap? It's so important. I'm already quit, and that bad habit, I feel good, not lazy. Yeah, we could do an episode on that. Jared Choi, Phil just told me not to donate to the channel. I don't know what to do at this point. Thank you, probably appreciate it. Shout out to Jared Choi. I used to work at Alvin as Glen Detention Center when he was there, and trust me, this dude was definitely detoxing in jail. It was a full switch from the day he was first got there to now. Okay. Ja Rule voice. It's Murdaugh. I see what you. Okay, bro. That's actually funny. And Nathan John, Christina for the Streets, no comment. Taj the Beast, what are we getting next credit episode? Not tomorrow, guys, because we got Waka Flocka in the house tomorrow. Shout out to Fresh for making that happen. So we're not gonna have a credit episode next Monday or tomorrow, but we will have a credit episode coming up. All right. So a quick recap. We're hour 20 in, guys. So I'm going to give you all a quick recap of what went down so far because we're going to get into the murder now. And like I said before, after this is all done, timestamps will be below. Nice and detailed for y'all to skip around and get whatever. This is going to be the definitive Murdaugh case breakdown for you guys, A to Z. All right? So before I do that, go ahead and like the video. Subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already. We got almost 1,700 y'all watching the show right now. So go ahead and like the video, man. Help us get to 1,000 likes. Well, I know, what are the likes at right now? We got, let me look here. We are at 892. Come on, guys. I hate stopping the show for, 899. Guys, come on, man. 100 likes. Y'all can't do that so we can hit 1K?
I want to say something.
Okay, go ahead.
I want to say something for the people that are not liking the video. You guys, you really need to like the video. And this is me telling you because this man right here, just point on you now, like do the thing that you do.
Point?
Yeah.
Which thing?
Show you.
Oh, show
this
me.
Man. Yes,
oh,
this man.
This guy? Okay.
Look at this guy.
Yeah, this guy.
This guy, after every fucking video we do, he sits in that chair, right? For almost like an hour and a half, doing the fucking timestamps for you all. And I mean, sometimes we even like finish at fucking 6 a.m. in the morning. And he wouldn't stand up that chair just to finish everything for you, like editing the video, like doing the timestamps, doing like everything, like, you know, cutting the things on the timestamps and all that shit that he does. So you really need to understand what he says, like the grind doesn't stop is because it doesn't fucking stop. Okay, so yeah, you really like need to like the fucking video. That's it.
Thank you very much, WNG. Yeah, guys, we really do go hard for y'all, man, especially with the pre-recorded videos. We're going to do another pre-recorded video for y'all right after this, man. So just like the video, bro. That's all I ask. All right. So let's go ahead and recap. So we covered a bunch of different things here, guys, on this podcast. We started first with the Murdaugh family background, okay? Who they are, how they run the southern part of South Carolina. Then we went into describing their history, right? I showed you guys the photograph of the family that were involved in this tragedy. Obviously, you got Alex Murdaugh, the murderer, the convicted murderer at this point. The son, Paul, right, who also was involved in killing someone. And Maggie, all right, who may or may not have been involved in her housekeeper's death. Then we went into the history. Then we went to the death of Mallory Beach, okay? Then which was the boat accident that Paul Murdaugh was involved in, operating the boat drunk. And then we went into Murdaugh embezzling money from his law firm. Then we went into Murdaugh stealing money from his deceased housekeeper's son that he promised to represent and get the money to. Then we went into the bizarre 911 call that he made after staging an attempted hit so that he can collect money from life insurance for his oldest son, Buster, who is still alive. Then, now, this brings us to the day of the murder in early June of 2021. And I showed you guys all this to set the stage, to put you guys kind of in the man's shoes as to why he did all these crazy things, all the crazy things that led up to him killing his son and his wife. Because at face value, you look at it like, yo, why would this dude do this? But now you can see a deranged man, a desperate man, a man sinking from financial stress, sinking from lying, sinking from stealing money, sinking from drug use, drug abuse, etc. Okay? He's not acting in his rational mind. Now let's go ahead into the crime scene.
Please hurry. We're getting somebody out there to you. Oh.
Colleton County Sheriff's Office Deputy Daniel Green was the first to arrive on the scene at Moselle.
Got a Whiskey Fox, Whiskey Mike, both with gunshot wounds to the head.
Maggie and Paul are clearly dead. He sees Alec Murdaugh standing there as well in a t-shirt and shorts.
Alec Murdaugh is extremely
Pay attention to what he's wearing, guys. White t-shirt and shorts, which is going to conflict with what he was wearing earlier in the day.
upset. He is beside himself.
It's bad. Check the pulses. Yes, sir.
He seems anxious. He seems distraught.
He was pacing quite a bit. He was also asking Green whether they were dead.
Did you check them? We got medical guys that are that's what they're gonna do. Okay.
What are they doing? Can they hurry?
They are. Yes, sir.
Evidence at the scene suggested that Paul was shot
And that blurred area that you guys saw is where the bodies were.
with a shotgun, and Maggie was shot with a rifle.
So that's very important to note, guys. 2 different weapons were used, okay, in this murder.
They were both murders. Murdaugh. I can't even say their fucking last name.
Well,
They were both like they were the owners of the guns.
yes, yes. Which they never found the guns, by the way.
Once SLED arrives, agents start to process the scene. Meanwhile, the lead agent...
SLED, guys, is the South Carolina Law Enforcement Division, okay? That is the state of South Carolina's main state agency that does big cases like this. Think of them as South Carolina's FBI.
wants to talk to Alec Murdaugh to find out what happened, and he agrees to be interviewed.
Just stupid. But he obviously has to give a statement, because if he says, I invoke my right to silence, or I don't want to talk to y'all, what are they going to assume? Oh, you're guilty, bro. So you got here a deputy sheriff right here. This guy, plain clothes, he might be work for the sheriff's office as well. And then you got the SLED agent here. And in this case, SLED is probably going to take lead, and SLED investigators are named SLED special agents, very similar to FBI or DEA or whatever, but they're state law enforcement officers, because this is a murder, guys. Feds don't typically do murder cases unless it's tied to some type of federal crime like a racketeering, gang activity, something like that.
Start at the top. Take your time.
Like when I came back here, I mean, I pulled up and I could see him, and you know, I knew something was bad. I ran out. I knew it was really bad. My boy over there, I could see it was.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News.
All right. So as y'all can see, obviously, very poor acting, right? So now we're going to go ahead into the evidence that was found at the crime scene, okay?
There were a significant number of particles characteristic of gunshot primer residue on the inside of this jacket, yes.
Gunshot residue on the inside of a rain jacket. Does it tie Alec Murdaugh to the murders of his wife and son? I'm Anjanette Levy, and welcome to Law and Crime's Sidebar Podcast. On Tuesday, jurors in Alec Murdaugh's double murder trial heard for the first time about his theft from his law firm and clients. He's charged with a number of financial crimes, as we've been telling you, around 99 or so. On
99 financial crimes. BOMBACLOT. Holy.
Tuesday, the chief financial officer for his former law firm testified about confronting Murdaugh on June 7th, 2021, about $792,000 in missing fees from a lawsuit that had settled with another firm. Hours later, Paul and Maggie Murdaugh were murdered. Jeannie Seckinger went through a number of checks she found that Murdaugh had deposited for himself.
And we have what's this right here?
That is the date of the check where the funds were stolen from.
All right. And then right here?
That's the client name.
All right. And then right here?
That's what we call the civil action number if it's been filed within the court.
All right. And then the category?
Is what type that he did. Most of them are forged payments, or you see a couple other took insurance. So he had a few methods.
All right. And then over here, is that when y'all had to pay the money back?
Yes, so for each one of these, the money that was stolen, all the partners got together and had to put the money back into client trust, and we went through and corrected and met with every client and distributed money back to them. That's an ongoing basis still going on.
So for all these clients, you had to pay, the law firm had to pay money back.
The partners came up with money and paid all the clients back
And why did y'all have to pay all that money back?
because Alec had stolen it.
Jeannie Seckinger, who's known Alec Murdaugh for 40 years, also opined on his skills as a lawyer using some pretty colorful language.
So what were your observations of him as a lawyer?
I think Alec was successful more not from his work ethic, but from his ability to establish relationships and to manipulate people into.
I guess he got 99 problems, but his family at one. Oh my God, bro. BOMBACLOT!
Settlements and clients into liking him. So he did it through the article, basically.
That can be an art.
Mm-hmm.
Did he?
He's just like, yo, fuck you, bitch. He literally is like, bro, if I ever get my hands on you, fatality. You know, in the back of his mind, he wants to hit her with the get over here. The next thing you know, that sound comes on. Then he hits her with the then the Hadouken. Then the Sonic Boom. Next thing you know, perfect. And then fatality. That's what he's thinking in his head right now. He wants to end her, bro.
What is going on?
In your estimation, in your judgment, was he more of a technical type lawyer, or was he one that really understood how to use the emotion of a case?
He would use the emotion of a case and the emotion of his clients.
So Jeannie Seckinger basically said that Alec Murdaugh was a BS artist. On cross-examination, Alec Murdaugh's lawyer, Jim Griffin, reminded Seckinger that this trial is actually about the murders of Maggie and Paul, and pointed out she may have some bias.
And we're not here today to try those charges on the financial crime.
Now, this is the defense, guys. Now, the defense's job, guys, is to deflect, okay? The defense, their job isn't to prove that the guy's innocent. They're there to prove that the prosecution can't prove that he's guilty, which is a big difference. The burden of performance is always on the prosecution to prove that the subject is guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. So the defense is coming in to just muddy the waters a bit and create a little bit of doubt so that their client can get off, which is what he's doing right now, saying, yo, this ain't a financial case. This is a murder case. What is the relevancy of this? Which is, you know, typical that a defense attorney would do this.
We're here, you understand, you're testifying because he's been charged with the murder of his wife, Maggie, and his son, Paul.
I do.
And they were murdered on June 7th, 2021. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Now, some of these, it looks like, according to your testimony, that this misconduct has been going on since as early as 2011.
Unfortunately, when we found that out.
Right. So
my man was stealing money for over 10 years.
Wow.
10 years before the murders of Maggie and Paul, correct?
That's correct. He managed to fool a lot of people, myself included.
Understand. And I understand you have the right to be very hurt and angry about that. And are you hurt and angry about that?
Oh, yes. I take it very personally. It haunts me that I let this, or that this happened.
You feel like it happened on your watch, and
I don't think anybody would feel normal feeling like that.
And guys, I want to make a distinction because some of you guys are saying, yo, leading questions, blah, blah, blah. So when you're on, when you're on direct, right? So there's two types of testimony that you're going to give. You're going to be on direct examination and cross-examination. When you're on direct, right? Let's say I'm the agent, right? I'm the law enforcement officer, and the prosecution is asking me questions. We're on the same team. So he asked me more open-ended questions. Agent, what is your name? Blah, blah, blah. What is your duties? What are your what's your title? What's your duties? How long you've been on the job? Okay, what's your expertise, etc. Then they go into the questioning, right? Because they have to establish that you are qualified to talk about and testify about whatever the hell you're going to talk about, especially if you're a subject matter expert, aka an SME, right? Then they ask you questions like, what happened on such and such day? And then bam, you kind of go through the facts of the case. They don't really stop you too much. They might interject here to maybe get you to clarify something, whatever. But y'all are friendly, so you guys are working together to ask you open-ended questions. Now, when you're on cross, okay, the ops are questioning you, okay? So in this case, I'm the agent. The defense comes after me. Now, the defense is going to ask me questions, typically in a yes or no fashion. It's not open-ended. Why do they do that? Well, they do it to put you in a situation where you might answer something and make you look stupid. I'll give you an example, okay? I remember back in the day when I was an agent, all right, they would ask me questions. Agent Fuddle, right? I've already been doxxed at this point, so who cares? Is it true that you've lied in the past? Okay? And that's kind of an open-ended question. And you'd be like, you know, you could say something funny. Never under oath, right? Ha ha ha, or something like that. Or have you ever told a lie before? Well, you obviously have to say yeah. But, right, because no one is perfect. Everyone has lied before, right? And then they'll ask you questions like that to make you look bad, right? Because their job is to attack the credibility of the prosecution and the investigating officers, agents, whatever it may be. So on a cross-examination, they kind of try to paint you in a corner and ask you yes or no questions, all right? And then it's back, right? On the prosecution, a lot of times they'll come back and they'll save it on the redirect or whatever it may be. But that's why he's asking questions like this, because obviously this woman, the CFO here, is the prosecution's witness. So the defense is asking her, how do I say this? Questions that would paint her more in a corner to attack her credibility and to make the defendant look less culpable. All right, so that's what it is when it comes. That's the difference between direct examination versus cross-examination. Cross-examination, you're being questioned by the ops, okay, to keep it nice and simple. And then direct examination, you're being questioned by your team.
The big betrayal of trust.
Next up was Ronnie Crosby.
Yo, like the video, by the way. Ain't nobody breaking this down for y'all like this.
He's known
and this is coming from someone who's testified hundreds of times, by the way. I've testified in trial. I've testified in grand jury. I've testified in depositions. I've testified in virtually every type of criminal criminal case procedure and or hearing at the federal level. So this isn't coming from me just reciting some bullshit off of Wikipedia or whatever. This is actual experience from someone that was on a job for over a decade. All right, guys? So like the video, subscribe to the channel, because ain't nobody else going to be able to give you guys insights to this detail. Because you might get a lawyer here or there. You might get someone that might have testified as a witness. You ain't getting no fucking former federal agent giving y'all this type of sauce and telling you guys how it really works in a criminal justice system.
Alec Murdaugh for much of their lives, and they were former law partners together at the now disbanded law firm. Crosby described his relationship with Paul Murdaugh.
I knew Paul since he was born. Both he and Buster had always referred to me as Uncle Ronnie. We lived just across the way from each other, so I got to know him. I don't know if he's used to, when he got into hunting, he hunted a lot on my property, he and Buster. I have a farm right here in Colleton County where I grew up. And so I got to know him, you know, that way. And then Paul was, didn't think this would be that hard. Paul was really good with kids, and he took a liking to my son, who's younger, but he spent a lot of time with him. He'd take him hunting, fishing. They did a lot of hog hunting together. Paul had some hog dogs, and you know, just was around him a lot. He had a great personality. Just really, you know, a kid I really loved, you know.
Paul would come over to your property a good bit?
Yes, and then, you know, and then sometimes as my son got older, he would go over to Moselle and hunt with Parker. I hunt with Paul.
Crosby said that he knew that Alec Murdaugh had had some financial difficulties because of some real estate deals that went south. On the night of the murders, he said he drove to Moselle and went directly to the kennels around 11 p.m.
He said that he came back.
So there's the motive right there. Financial hardship from bad real estate deals. Should have watched our Money Mondays to talk about proper real estate investing. God damn it!
Stupid. To Moselle, and that he went to the house, and that when he got to the house, he discovered that Maggie and Paul were not there, and that he then got back in his car, or his Suburban, which was an office-issued vehicle, and he drove down to the kennels. And it's more than just kennels there. I think y'all have seen maybe sheds there. And he discovered Maggie and Paul's bodies.
I also want to make this extremely clear for y'all. In his interviews, okay, your boy, Murdaugh, said that he was not at the location, okay? And we're going to see evidence that proves otherwise. But that was a big thing that he stuck with, that he was not there at the location when the murders occurred, at or about 8:50 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Did he say whether or not he had gone down to the kennels with Maggie and Paul before he left to go to Alameda after 9 p.m.?
That came up in one of the conversations, and he's specifically said that he did not.
He did not.
He did not.
Did you recognize any voices on that video?
The three voices on that video are the voices of Paul Murdaugh, Maggie Murdaugh, and Alec Murdaugh.
How sure are you? How sure are you?
I'm 100% sure that's whose voices.
And this is the video that he's referring to, guys, right here. This is from Snapchat on Paul Murdaugh's phone, minutes before they were killed.
Get back. Get back.
Quit, Cash. Quit. It's okay. Come here.
Okay, you heard one voice there. Okay, that was Murdaugh.
Come here, Cash. Shit. Come here. Post it. Cash.
Hey, he's got a bird in his mouth.
That's Maggie. That's his mom. He's got a bird in his mouth. Then you heard Murdaugh again. I don't know what he said there. He said some jibber jabber.
Hey, Bubba.
It's a guinea.
This is a chicken.
Come here, Bubba.
Come here, Cash.
Come here, Bubba. You can hear Murdaugh in the back.
Come here, Bubba.
Cash. Quit. Post it. Cash.
Hey, he's got a bird in his mouth.
Hey.
So you can distinctly hear a female voice, which is Maggie, the mother, and then you can hear a male voice, who is Murdaugh, Alex Murdaugh.
Bubba.
And Paul is the one playing with the dog here that's recording this video.
It's a guinea.
This is a chicken.
Come here, Bubba.
Come here, Cash.
Come here, Bubba.
Cash. Quit.
So what does that do, guys? That refutes his claim that he was not at the kennels. Okay?
BOMBACLOT.
Yeah. So
BOMBACLOT.
he was full of
Stop the cap.
And you got one of his close associates here testifying that that is indeed his voice. And I think there was 8 other people that testified that that was Murdaugh's voice.
Or on that, the audio there.
If you like this show, you might like Canadian True Crime. That
Don't worry. We got something better than Canadian True Crime when we cover that serial killer for y'all. Don't worry.
crime is known for immersive
LN.
before Paul and Maggie were murdered. Crosby then spoke about when he learned that Alec had been stealing from clients and what Alec had to say about it.
Real quick, as you guys know with the shooting, I'm going to go ahead and play a video for y'all that breaks down the murder. Okay, crime scene expert testifies in Alex Murdaugh trial as far as how the shooting was done. Oh, hold on. My bad, I had this tab muted, guys.
Murdaugh died, and it was torture. In a graphic courtroom demonstration, a crime scene expert described how Maggie first witnessed the death of her son, then she was wounded several times before the fatal shot was delivered.
It's a shocking demonstration of the final moments of Maggie Murdaugh's life.
She would have been on her knees and had at least one hand on the ground.
The prosecutor got down on the courtroom floor to illustrate the position.
Pause.
As a crime scene expert used his pointer to show how the killer, alleged to be her husband Alex, delivered the fatal shot.
The shooter was right here.
Everybody was adjusting their seat to get a better look because it was just so dynamic. This courtroom absolutely stopped in South Carolina because you had the prosecution lying on the ground, actually demonstrating how Maggie may have been executed.
The jury also heard a 911 call Murdaugh made 3 months after Maggie and Paul were slain.
I got a flat tire.
That's the 911 call we played earlier, guys, on September 3rd, 2021.
And somebody stopped to help me, and when I turned my back, they tried to shoot me. Were you shot? Yeah.
This video was taken in the ambulance.
It sounded like a shotgun.
Murdaugh later said he hired a former client to shoot him because his financial crimes were about to be exposed.
I thought it would be better for me not to be here anymore.
What do you mean by not be here anymore?
I thought that it would make it easier on my family for me to be dead.
Alex Murdaugh has pled not guilty to the double murder charges.
Hell. All right.
Oh my God, somebody said like this guy looked like Chucky grew up.
like who?
Chucky.
Oh.
I was giving a folder that had paperwork in it. And that paperwork consisted of checks, both front and back. And I was asked to review them.
Were those the what's been called the fake forged checks?
I believe the fake forged checks, there was not all of them that Ms. Seconder went over, but I believe that there was, I could probably call the names of most of them that were there. I know it was Anderson, Bush, Moore. There was about 5 or 6 of them. And I believe they had a copy of the Ferris check there too.
Ferris check?
Yes, and I'd sat for a minute and reviewed it. I think Danny said, "You're going to need a drink." And so.
Did you have a drink?
Yeah, ultimately more than one.
Yeah, that boy's drinking that scotch, if you know what I'm saying.
What happened after that?
Well, they didn't tell me what was in it. They let me review it on my own. And I immediately said, this is bad. And my words then were that we have to terminate Alec. He cannot no longer practice with us. And that was within, I don't know how many minutes, but it was not a long period of time because the way Jeannie had it laid out, it was clear what had happened and that this money had been stolen.
Did any of the partners go to confront Alec with this information that had been uncovered?
Yes, there was a meeting the following morning at Lee's house. I did not attend. I did not need to attend. I was still getting ready for trial. I had already decided where this was going. And they met, and then we, Danny and Randy, Alec's brother, went and met with Alec.
And what was your understanding of what the defendant said as a result of that?
That he admitted and said that he knew he was going to get caught at some point in time, and admitted to them that he did it.
On cross-examination, Alec Murdaugh's attorney, Jim Griffin, went back to the theme that the crime scene was tainted.
Were you able to get inside the crime scene tape?
So cross-examination. Remember, guys, that guy is the prosecution's witness. So now the defense is cross-examining him. So now they're going to grill him.
I don't know if there was crime scene tape up at that point in time.
Okay. So you were able, as you recall, just to walk up. Were Maggie and Paul's bodies covered at the time you got there?
Yes.
But you were able to get into the crime scene close enough where you could tell what you thought the caliber of the shell case.
Right, and I didn't walk from where I was parked there. I walked completely around the hangar and went over to talk to people I knew that there, the fire and rescue people, just to get what their assessment was. And I could see from where they were positioned, I could see, I wasn't like, I didn't get over it, but I could see.
Yo, this chat got no fucking chill, bro. Solo Productions reactions goes, he had YNW Melly playing in his head, looking at his son and wife that night. Yo. I guess he had murder on his mind, man. Yo, y'all are crazy, bro.
Yeah.
This chat got no chill, man.
I'm very familiar with firearms, and I saw what I thought was a 223 casing.
Okay.
The last witness of the day was Megan Fletcher, and she testified about gunshot residue test results from Alec Murdaugh's belongings. She said there were a small number of particles found on Alec Murdaugh's hand, his seatbelt, his shirt, and shorts that he was wearing the night of the murders, but there was no GSR found on his sneakers, which is notable. But 38 particles were found on the now notorious blue rain jacket found at Alec Murdaugh's mother's home.
Oh boy. And that was a big piece of evidence, guys, because they couldn't find gunshot residue on any of the clothing that he was wearing that day. I mean, granted, he had to grab the gun real quick because he claimed that he was going to go back to the scene and, go after any attackers that had killed his family. But this piece of clothing right here, which was hidden, and remember, guys, there was a Snapchat video earlier, which I'm going to show y'all, of what he was wearing that day, okay, which his son had documented as well. It's interesting how Paul's Snapchat spoke for him after his death.
And finally, since this is an inanimate object, how long would you expect that gunshot primer residue to stay on there?
Until it's actively removed.
Say that again, for what?
Until it's actively removed.
That means washed, cleaned?
Yeah, brushing it, like aggressively brushing it off, washing it in a washing machine, cleaned, hosed off, something like that.
If a recently fired firearm was wrapped up inside that jacket, would that be consistent with your findings?
There is a possibility of that, yes, sir.
Thank you very much. That's all we have. Thank you.
Fletcher said that the GSR on Alec Murdaugh's hand and his clothing and seatbelt could have been transferred, but she couldn't say when. And that's it for this edition of Law and Crime Sidebar Podcast. It is produced by Sam Goldberg and Michael Deininger. Bobby Zoki is our director.
All right, so real quick, here's a timeline of what went down, guys. Right, that's the evidence, but let's go over the timeline now. All right, I'm going to pull this up for y'all. And then we're going to go over the picture, crime scene photos and stuff. This is his son, okay, Paul Murdaugh, recording his father. Okay, I think this was either a Snapchat or this was recovered from the phone after the fact. So look at what he's wearing. Tan pants, blue shirt, and looks like some loafers.
The video you just watched was sent on Snapchat by Alec Murdaugh's son on the day he was murdered. Prosecutors allege this video proves that the disgraced lawyer was with his son Paul at their South Carolina home before he was killed.
Better than it was, ain't it?
According to a Snapchat representative, that video was uploaded to Paul Murdaugh's memories at 7:39 p.m. and later sent to friends at 7:56 p.m. on June 7th, 2021.
Gotcha, bitch! We just discussed that was part of the Snapchat search warrant return.
Yes.
That you just testified was uploaded at 7:39 p.m. and sent at 7:56 p.m.
Yes.
And guys, this is common in a trial. I've done this before as well. Whenever you use social media and or phone records in a trial, you'll typically call a witness from the company to come in and testify as to the validity of the times, the evidence seized, etc., from whatever medium you got the evidence from. I've had people come from Facebook on trials. I've had people come from Facebook, from Instagram, Snapchat. This is very common where you bring in a expert, right? Or T-Mobile, Verizon, a lot of times with phone companies. They come in and they testify to the validity of the information that is gathered and can go into detail and explain it to the jury. So this is a representative from Snapchat here, right?
Later,
Probably a law enforcement representative that works with law enforcement liaison that works for Snapchat. So if any law enforcement officer submits a search warrant or a subpoena, they have a compliance unit that deals with that.
that night, Paul Murdaugh took another video on his phone, this time in their dog kennel. Listen to how many voices you hear.
Get back. Get back. Quit.
This is a video we played earlier, so I'll fast forward it a bit. You can clearly hear three distinct voices here, which most importantly was Murdaugh's.
I don't understand what's the thing with Snapchat.
They 100% believe Alec Murdaugh's voice is heard alongside his son Paul's and wife Maggie's in the video.
Recognize the voices on there?
I did.
Did you recognize the voices of your second family?
I did.
And what voices did you hear?
Paul's, Miss Maggie, Miss Alec.
And how sure are you now?
Positive.
100%?
That's correct.
Expert witnesses said the video was taken at approximately 8:44 p.m., which is minutes before investigators believe Paul and Maggie were shot. Later, Alec would call 911 at approximately 10:06 p.m. to report the discovery of the bodies of his wife and son.
An hour plus after the fact.
This is Alec Murdaugh at 4147 Moselle Road. I need the police to answer immediately. My wife and child just shot badly.
Family friends.
Well, go ahead.
Do you find the footage that I told you that is on YouTube when they found the bodies, like when he called the?
Oh, when he called.
Remember that I told you that the policeman.
Yeah, we could play it. Basically the body cam footage. Yeah. Also, another thing I want you guys to know: when he called 911, when you guys call 911, it starts rolling before they pick up the phone. They start recording before that. So if you listen to the 911 call, he starts frantically acting after they say 911, not before. So he was like just silent on the line waiting, and then he starts getting frantic.
Also testified that Alec and Paul had a close relationship. Here's a video of the father and son at Alec's 61st birthday.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. All right. Happy birthday.
Could you imagine? I'm gonna kill you in a couple years, motherfucker.
Happy birthday to you. Thank y'all so much. Hey. Thank you, baby.
I'm gonna steal all your money and kill you.
As the Murdaugh trial continues, Law and Crime will keep you updated on all the newest developments. Reporting from
All right. So now we're gonna go over some evidence photos from the scene. As you guys can see.
I just sent you the video.
Oh, you did? Okay, here's some the deputy showing up. Here's the kennel. You guys can see footprints all over the place, which the defense actually attacked this, guys, because and the reason why the defense attacked it. Hold on, is this tab muted? Oh no, it's just silent.
Telegram.
Okay. So yeah, I can see the water spill. Chain of custody, South Carolina Law Enforcement Division, SLED, Forensic Services Laboratory, chain of custody. This is the case number, Camel, Benelli, Black Eagle, unfiltered. So this is the firearms that they took. Shoes, or slides in this case, probably from one of the victims. And then here is one of the weapons that were used. Okay. So, y'all can see, huge area where this crime occurred. Now, what I want to show you guys as well is, you said you sent me
the video of the
video?
footage of the police.
Okay.
When he called.
Which one did you send it to? On Telegram. This one? VIP? This one? Okay. Oh, I already played this. All right, let me go back. So this right here, guys. So remember how the guy was showing the shooting? Here is his actual testimony. We're gonna play a portion of it because I want to. This is pretty good stuff. So I want y'all to see a little bit more.
Again, he never made any movement. Any movement he made
They
was
show photos as well.
involuntary, and it was due to gravity, pulling his body down to the ground. When you sustain an injury to your brain like that, that ceases all movement. So he was found outside the feed door. He fell over forward after sustaining that movement. Some wounds are fatal later. You can actually see someone that receives a fatal wound, and I've seen them run 100 yards. They can move for a little while. This is not that type of wound. Once he received this wound, it ceased all movement.
And did you, I'm going to put attachment, states 535 up on the screen. And tell the jury what this particular image reflects, please.
Yes, sir. If you can look at the green funnel that I've added just visually, if you look at that green funnel, that is approximately the shot shell path, the shot path from the shot shell after it did the injuries to Paul, or the direction of the shot from the shot shell. And I determined that by shot shell pellet defects that are still in the door, even though the door had been cleaned. I went and looked at it myself.
By the way, there's 11 of you guys watching right now. Like the video, man. Let's get 1,800 likes on this thing, man. Okay, we're filming this thing for y'all midnight right now, going hard in the paint, and we're gonna record another video for you guys after this, so you guys have some content when I'm in Vegas. So guys, do me a favor, like the video, subscribe to the channel. Okay, let's get to 1.5K likes. We're at 1.2. We can easily get another 300.
Run my own measurements. Took the width of the door. I took Paul's approximate height. It's listed as several different things.
And just so you guys know, Paul was shot first, which is why I'm showing you this, because they didn't detail how the son was shot.
DMV shows him at 5'6". The pathologist listed him, I believe, at 5'9". So I had to split the difference. I went somewhere in the middle. Then I deducted the distance between the top of your head and the top of your shoulder. So I took another foot off. Then I took the width of the door, and it was one other thing I looked at, and that was a void pattern that's on the door frame of the door. A void pattern is caused by something being there when the blood and biological materials are let. We call it a bloodletting from the wound, and there's a void pattern, which tells me something was in that way, and because of the narrow door, in my opinion, it was Paul. So that's what caused that void pattern on that door. So I used all of that, and I used a dowel rod, and I used a protractor on the doorknob side of that door frame, and I ran it up, and that's what helped me establish the angle of that shot pattern.
So as y'all can see, he was doing quite a bit of arithmetic to figure this out.
And we're going to use the images to kind of talk about that a little bit more specifically, but quickly, I want to show you 539 and 540 and see if you recognize these images.
The pellet defects in the door, and this is the approximate center of it here. So that's 4 inches above 72. That's approximately 76 inches on an 80-inch door.
I'm going to show you states 536 and explain to the jury what this is, and in particular how that's relevant to your conclusion about the angle in which Paul suffered the fatal head wound.
This is the original.
Yeah, his head was pretty much blown out, guys. His brains were everywhere.
Crime scene pictures. And this is where the pellets took their path. This is where they struck and did damage to the door. And you can actually still see the dents that are documented in my photograph. You can see them in the original crime scene. This is the concentration of blood that's caused by the brain exiting Paul's body in the path of the shot shells. And then you also have biological material, hair and blood, here at the top of the door frame. And that's where I drew my conclusion.
You guys can see that right here, what they're talking about. All kinds of brain matter, bone, hair, everything right there in the corner.
At some time, those body parts made contact with these sections of the door. And my opinion is that it hit here, and then landed on the sidewalk.
Looking at states 537, can you explain what the jury's seeing in this image and how it relates to your opinion about the manner in which Paul suffered that fatal wound?
I can. With a major bloodletting, especially.
Dr. Kinson, let me ask you to, I'm gonna move this podium and ask you to step back just a hair so that the jurors over here can see what you're saying.
Yes, sir. With a shotgun wound, you know, you've got not hundreds, you've got over 800 pellets that are making damage. It's not like a projectile, a single projectile from a pistol or a rifle. So there's mass damage, and it throws body fluids and blood in several different directions, but they follow the path. When I mentioned that it was a void pattern, this is the last blood drop. You can see it in the photograph that I could see, and it's approximately 5 foot right there. And this is not green tape. That is a digital effect I put on the photograph to show the void I was talking about. So at some time, it's my opinion that Paul was up against that door or real close to that door to keep that blood from striking the door at the point in time that he was shot.
All right, and the green tape reflects that blood pad or that void area that is consistent with Paul blocking that area. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. Digital tape. It's not really tape.
All right. Well,
yes, sir.
And so that's been added to.
Yes, sir.
Okay. To illustrate your opinion. Correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, and then 538. I'm going to show you this image, and again, if you can point out what's been added and how this relates to the conclusion that you're offering to the jury.
Yes, sir. One thing that I looked at to determine that it happened in the doorway and a little bit outside the doorway, more outside than inside, you don't just look for the presence of biological material in blood, you look for the absence of biological material in blood. Here at the top, it didn't have a scale or a ruler, so I can't tell you exactly, but looking at some of these other objects, I was able to scale it approximately 4 inches. Up here, you have a void. So I know that it happened, the second wound happened far enough outside of that door frame that the actual frame kept the biological material from hitting at the very top, right here. I also,
you guys can see the arrows pointing here, right? And sometimes, right, and you can see blood here on this side, right, of the cleaning material, but not as much on the other side. So that gives the forensic analysts, right, something to work with to figure out, because it's not just important where the blood is, it's also important where the blood is not, so that you can go ahead and get a good trajectory of where the bullets may have come from and where the victim was standing at the time of the murder and how the murder was actually committed. So, and you guys are probably going to hear this testimony later on, but from what you can basically tell here, it doesn't seem like Paul had much reaction time before he was shot.
Look at these items. You got some medication, canine medication, or some cleaning materials and that kind of thing up here. You can see all the spatter at the front of those containers. And then we got what I call a demarcation line right here, and I drew it through most of these.
It's right here, guys. You can see this is the demarcation line that he's talking about. As you can see, on one side it's clean, on the other side it's pretty dirty with quite a bit of blood.
Hands, and that separates the blood contaminated area and the clean area. So that tells me that it was at least forward of the angle on those containers. And that's why I believe he was shot. The second wound happened just outside the door frame, but his feet were probably still in the door frame.
All right, and just quickly point to the jury, can we see part of the door frame in this particular image?
You can, yes, sir, right here.
All right. And going back now to states 535, and just for the record, we were just looking at states 538 and 537. Going back to states 535, did you reach a conclusion as to the location of the shooter on that second fatal shot that Paul suffered to his head?
Yes, sir, I did.
All right, and explain that to the jury if you would, please.
Okay, this is important. Now he's going to give the location of where he was when he got the fatal shot that actually killed him, guys.
The shooter was right here. If you're facing that door, to the right of the doorway, outside.
And would you have expected there to be, in that particular range, any sort of biological evidence in that area in proximity to the shooter?
Yes, sir, I would.
Would the door frame have potentially blocked any of that as well?
It would block some, and just depending on the positioning, how much of the body of the shooter was exposed. Because, you know, once you have that kind of catastrophic injury, it's real fine blood particles and biological fluids that go in all directions. And the closer the shooter was to the muzzle, to the exit end of that firearm, the more stuff you would expect.
Let me ask you this. In your expert opinion, is there any way that Paul's fatal head injury came from the top in a contact fashion or a close fashion?
No, sir. I see no possible way for that.
And explain your conclusion in that regard to the jury, please. What factors weigh against that in your expert opinion?
Well, number one, I don't know of a way to mimic this blood evidence on this door, that pattern where that shot traveled through Paul's shoulder, into his jaw, into his brain, and then took a path up and placed the biological material here at the top of the door.
Wow. So, yo, hold on. It went through his shoulder, into his jaw, and then into his brain, guys.
Traveled through Paul's shoulder, into his jaw, into his brain, and then took a path up and placed the biological material here at the top of the door. If he was shot in the head, then you'd have biological material out here on the ground, or at least going down, you know, on the sidewalk in front of him. And it would be different than just free pouring blood. You would see this pattern, and you would see those high velocity blood droplets there on the ground. And plus the shooter would have to be on the roof to shoot down into him, but you wouldn't have this on the door.
Bam. And that's how he was able to establish that he was shot up. Basically, it seemed like he was taken for surprise. He was at the doorway. Shooter's outside the door, shoots him from the side. Bullet goes up through the shoulder, into the jaw, right through the brain, blows the top of his head out, guys. Okay? So, like, pretty much this entire part of his head at the top was blown out because the bullet went shoulder, jaw, and then, bam, travels upwards this way, which is what he's trying to explain with the bullet trajectory, which the brain matter, right, on the door signifies that. So that's how he was able to come to that conclusion based on the injuries as well as the blood splatter, is the bullet trajectory, etc. All right, and it was a shotgun that did this at very close range.
In your expert opinion, did you see any support or evidence in this crime scene that could support that the injuries suffered by Paul were in any manner a suicide or self-inflicted?
I don't see the possibility, knowing that it.
And why did the prosecutor ask that? Because he wants to establish that there is no way that this was a self-deletion. He wants to establish this was a murder. Okay? There's no way that someone could have shot themselves in this way to create that bullet wound pattern, that blood splatter, that trajectory, etc.
It's not a contact shotgun wound, and I'm fairly strong, and I'm bigger than Paul.
And notice how he said it's not a contact shotgun wound. For you to actually commit self-deletion with a shotgun, the gun is big, guys, okay? It's very awkward to, you know, delete yourself with a shotgun. You'd have to, like, put it like this, and it'd have to basically touch your face so you can actually pull the trigger and actually do it, right? So it's got to be right up on you. But he's saying it wasn't a contact shot, so there's no way that it could have been done that way, okay? This is very important for the prosecution to establish that self-deletion was not the cause of demise here.
Was, and I don't know of any way you could hold that shotgun out and shoot yourself in that direction at that.
See, there you go. I didn't even hear this testimony, and I already knew that's what he was going to say.
That angle and put that biological material on top of that door like that. I don't think it's possible.
All right, thank you. All right, I hate to keep sending you back and forth, but I'm gonna send you back.
Now he's gonna
his arm and cause a.
Now he's gonna show it with his pole.
All right, I know I just sent you back. I'm gonna bring you back down. I'm sorry.
Guys, like the video, by the way, man. I hope you guys are enjoying this content, man. Breaking this down with y'all, showing you guys exactly how this went down. I think this is very important to illustrate how the murders went down and the gruesome, the gruesome nature of it.
Before we move on from Paul, I would, and if you could just use me as a mannequin, but can you sort of describe to me your conclusions about the positioning of Paul when he suffered that fatal head wound, and just how the trajectory of that wound and that shot as you've described and as supported by the evidence as you see it.
Can I describe it and demonstrate?
Yes, please.
So the jurors can see. The second wound.
This is where the rubber meets the road, my friends.
As I mentioned, went in his arm and caused an injury here, a large exit, and then of course exit here. So it had to be typically with the kind of non-fatal wound Paul suffered to his chest and his arm. It's my belief that now his 5'8" frame is dipping or favoring that arm, because as you know, that's over 20 something entrances and exits. I believe it would have hurt him. I believe he would have been in pain, and I believe he would have been somewhat affected. And the reason I believe that is because I've got the 90-degree blood drops.
Look at him. He's saying, oh, it's not me. It's not me. I think his reaction here brings him back to the moment where he shot his son. And he remembers, because the side of him is like, yo, I did, he is my son at the end of the day. But his reaction, they say a picture's worth of 1,000 words. I think a video is worth even more.
It's moving really, really slow. If he wasn't feeling it, or if it hadn't affected him in some way, I believe his youthfulness would have allowed him to get out of there faster. But he's moving real slow to the door. So that's going to drop that angle just a couple inches, and I can demonstrate.
All right, if we can make sure that juror can see.
Yes, sir, absolutely.
All right.
That wound went in approximately right here. It traveled in, and out in a straight line. In a straight line. Shot always goes in a straight line.
And then when you're pressing the dowel stick there, you're showing the trajectory of the wound, not implying that was a contact wound. Is that
No,
correct?
sir, I'm not. I'm not implying it's contact. I'm just showing the level of the wound.
All right. While I'm thinking about it, the wound to Paul's chest, did it show evidence of stippling?
Yes, sir.
All right. And just very quickly, what is stippling?
Commonly referred to as tattooing. It's particles and material that's in that shell that don't burn up because it's superheated at the time that the powder charge ignites. It doesn't explode. It ignites and burns rapidly. And that's unburnt particles of powder and other contents of that shell. They're hot, and when they hit the body, they cause stippling, or in the old days, they called it tattooing. And that's basically what it is. It works as an ink.
Looking at this particular image, Paul's about 5 feet in the feed room when he suffers the first wound, correct?
Yes, sir, that is correct.
And then he moves towards the door, is that correct?
That is correct.
And suffers the second wound somewhere near the door frame on the inside of it.
Yes, sir, with his shoulder just outside that door frame.
And when he suffers that second wound, what happens to Paul?
He falls immediately.
And where does he fall?
He falls outside the feed room.
All right, let's move on now, and let's talk a little bit, if we can, about the injuries to Maggie Murdaugh. If you could.
Okay, so now we established how the son was murdered in graphic detail. Now we're going to go into Maggie, the mom.
Start out by reminding
AKA the wife.
The jury of the injuries that she suffered, and then let's talk about your conclusions as to the manner and the order in which those were suffered.
Yes, sir.
All right, so if you could just remind us again of those injuries, and if you could go ahead and describe them in the order that your expert opinion they were suffered.
Yes, sir. Miss Maggie Murdaugh suffered 3 non-fatal injuries from a firearm. One was through her wrist. One was her left upper thigh above the knee. One was at her abdomen here, and it exited somewhere around her kidneys. Now, I'm not that kind of doctor. I can't tell you all the damage it did inside, all those organs and things, but it ran a straight line through her body. This one on her left leg and this one on her midsection were approximately the same angle. And they were really, really close in distance. One had stippling that said that it was a foot closer than the other, but that would probably fit. This was either a total separate non-fatal wound, or it could have been a continuation of one of the 2 fatal wounds. Her fatal wounds were, she had an abrasion or a burn on the left side of her abdomen from the outside in. That bullet followed a straight path. It entered the end of her breast and did extensive damage to the end of her breast, entered her left jaw, side of her face area, and went into her brain. That's the first fatal injury. And it was immediate, and she dropped right where she was at. I saw no evidence that her body had been manipulated, moved, or rolled over. The second thing,
she was in an enormous amount of pain, guys, with these bullet wounds, by the way. Like, you can't even believe it. And she was alive for Paul. His stuff was his death was fairly quick. Hers was painful and took a little bit longer.
Fatal injury was down into her head, and it actually did what in the day they call a keyhole injury just from appearances. The entrance and exit in the top of her head were so close it made one big injury, and then it entered into her upper shoulders and went down into her body. That would have also been a fatal wound, but it was second. In my opinion, that one came second.
All right, let's talk about that in a little bit more detail. Those first 2 wounds that you described, you believe those are the first 2 wounds she suffered?
Yes, sir, and possibly 3. I can't tell you much about this because the arm could have been moving or it could have been here.
All right, well, let's talk about the thigh wound and the abdomen wound. Did you have any conclusions about the location of the shooter as those 2 wounds were suffered?
Yes, sir, I did.
All right, and explain that to the jury if you would, please.
Right there. All right. Left leg out a little bit. About here and here. Here and here.
And in your opinion, were those 2 shots fired in fairly quick succession or around the same time?
I think it would have been really, really difficult to get a similar angle if they weren't. All the shooter had to do is raise the weapon or lower the weapon, and you're still on the same plane.
And did those wounds to the abdomen and to the thigh reflect the presence of stippling?
They did.
And what does that indicate to you about the distance between Maggie and the shooter when those wounds were suffered?
I guess 4 or 5 feet.
Okay. Fairly close?
Yes, sir.
All right. And
so that means that she saw her attacker, guys. She saw the shooter at the time.
After those 2,
Paul might have not seen his attacker, but she definitely did.
2 wounds were suffered, and again, we'll put aside the wrist wound for a bit. What would have happened after that, in your expert opinion?
In my opinion, at bare minimum, she would have been over. She would have been in pain. I believe sometime in close proximity, she fell to the ground, and that's when the first fatal wound was delivered.
Would she have been prone on the ground or still somewhat raised above the ground or in a bent over position when that first fatal wound was suffered?
In my opinion, from the angle, she would have been on her knees and had at least one hand on the ground.
Those first 2 shots, well, let me ask you this. There were obviously 6 shell cases of 300 blackout that were used to murder Maggie Murdaugh found at the scene. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Explain to the jury, what conclusions, if any, can you draw about the location of those shell cases, if anything? Explain that to the jury a little bit.
Once again, just like with the shotgun, I'm not saying it doesn't exist, but I don't think there are many left-handed AR platforms. So generally speaking, the ejection port's gonna be on the right side. I own 7. Some of them throw it, the shell casing a little bit forward, some throw it a little bit back, some throw it perfect 90 degrees to the ejection port. If they were always uniform where they come out, if you go target practice, you could place a bucket there and all your shell casings would drop in the bucket. You wouldn't have to bend over and pick up your shell cases. Unfortunately, that's not the real world. So I don't put a lot into that unless I have the actual weapon. And we can test the weapon with the same ammunition, and you can generally get an idea of where that shell casing is going to go. So no, sir, I don't pay a lot of attention to it, and I definitely don't think the sequence of from one end to the other or from this end.
And just so you guys know, let's illustrate this so you guys understand what the hell he's talking about. This is what it looks like when a bullet is ejected from an AR. Okay, in slow motion. One more time for y'all. Fires, bam, ejects right out the side. Now, obviously, this is a right-handed firearm because most firearms are right-handed, but, you know, you would just reverse it on the left-hand side. But this is what it looks like for people out there, so you have a visual representation of what the guy is talking about. Like the video, guys. All right, we're going deep in this thing. Pause. All right, like the video. I see we got 1,800 plus y'all watching, but we only got 1.3K likes. We should have 1,800 likes on this thing. All right.
And to this end means that's necessarily the movement of the shooter.
Gotcha. All right. You said that when she suffered that first fatal wound, in your opinion, I mean, she would have been over and perhaps been on her hands and knees. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. I'm going to get down on my hands and knees, and if you could come around here and kind of show me where the trajectory of that wound would have gone, the first wound that was fatal for Maggie Murdaugh. I guess.
All right. So, guys, all right. Just a recap real quick here. So she gets shot twice, okay? She gets shot in the, it looks like the abdomen and the leg or the thigh, all right? Obviously, at this point, you're going to fall right to the ground. Your leg's going to give out. You get shot in the stomach. You're like, oh, God, you're going to hunch over, right? So now we're going to go into the demonstration of what occurs after Maggie hits the floor.
Come behind me?
Yes, sir.
In full detail. We show an excerpt of it from the other one, but now we're going to see it in full detail. So the shooter sees her, shoots her. At this point, she's probably pleading, please don't kill me, et cetera, et cetera. And, you know, just think about the callousness you have to be able to walk around and shoot the individual again from the back. He probably didn't want to look at her as he did this.
Right here. The shooter was right here, approximately right here.
All right. And show us the trajectory as it went through Maggie into her brain.
Yes. It burned or grazed her stomach outside to inside, went through the end of her breast, into her jaw, and then into her brain.
Okay. And what would have been the effect on her once that shot was suffered?
She would have immediately fell down with the front of her body.
All right.
And that is the position her arms were in the original crime scene photograph.
And while I'm down here, so I don't have to get up again, tell me about the fatal shot and the positioning of the shooter as the evidence indicates to you.
The second shot was not as close, but it still wasn't a long distance. It was approximately here into the crown of the head.
Bam. So he shot her up front, right? So he shoots her up front twice. Bang, bang, right? In the ab and in the leg. Goes behind her, shoots again. Then he walks in front of her and shoots her a third time, guys. All right. And obviously, you know, he's doing maybe 1 or 2 taps as he's doing this. So this is wild, right? Probably didn't want to see her. She was looking at him saying, don't shoot me. Goes behind her, shoots her. She falls on the floor at that point because it hit her brain. So at that point, all motor function is pretty much gone. And then he has to do, obviously, the final fatality and comes and shoots her from the front. Sick bastard.
Sick fuck.
Yeah, bro. Holy. Now, I also want to let y'all know that at this point, him and his wife were not living together and they were having marital issues, guys. They definitely were.
He actually called her to go see him.
Good point. Yes, that is true. He had called her because they had not been speaking. She was living at another house at the time, guys. and he called her. I think it was to go see his dying father, correct?
Yeah.
One of his dying parents. Both of his parents are old and sick.
So, no, Randolph, his dad.
That's who it was?
Yes, Randolph.
Okay. So that's who he wanted her to go see, and she went and she showed up, and this is what ended up happening.
And use the dowel stick to show that injury that Maggie suffered.
Hey Angie, can you do me a favor? Can you go ahead and do what you do best and grab the crime scene photos for this, and we'll put them in the description for them?
Yeah, sure.
We'll get you guys the unedited crime scene photos. I won't be able to show them here, but I know some of y'all are probably requesting them. So Angie will go ahead and dig them up for
Yeah,
y'all.
you guys.
Yeah, you sick bastards. She's good at finding them.
In, out, in that line.
Okay. Thank you.
Bam, and that explains the shooting. Okay, guys. Now you guys know in graphic detail how it was done. All right. So the other thing I want to go over with y'all is we're gonna go over the phone data, which was very important. Okay, deleting phone calls, text messages, all that blah blah. So let's go into it.
All right, welcome back to Law and Crime, everybody. I'm Jesse Weber, and thanks for joining us. We're waiting to jump back live into the Alec Murdaugh trial, the man accused of murdering his wife Maggie and son Paul on their property in June 2021. Right now, it is all about the defendant's cell phone, and I want to break that down. I'm joined by two special guests. I think we're working on getting forensic death investigator Joseph Scott Morgan.
And if you guys were watching Fed It, y'all already know the importance of cell phones and how critical they are to investigations. Okay, it's a big reason why serial killers back in the 70s, 80s, and 90s weren't getting caught like that. Ted Bundy, Jeffrey Dahmer, John Wayne Gacy, etc. They were able to do all this craziness because the advent of the modern cell phone was not around to track these sick fucks down. But now they are. Okay, cell phones is the reason why YNW Melly is going to go to jail. All right, guys. Very powerful evidence because it could pin you down literally to the foot.
On, but right now we do have with us criminal defense attorney and host of the Defense Diaries podcast, Bob Murdaugh. Bob, good to see you. Thanks for coming on. So we've heard a lot of interesting testimony today about Alec Murdaugh's cell phone, something that is usually attached to us. We've learned about which I thought was really interesting, that the calls that he allegedly made to Maggie were wiped away from his call log. The reason we know those exist because if you look at her call log, they exist. That's A. B, we learned about the recorded steps with the phone, which it makes me wonder if these steps were happening when he said was taking a nap at the house and why there are so many steps at really curious moments, and also about how many messages he read and when he read them. What are you taking away from this testimony?
To me, it's the strongest evidence they've put forth so far. I mean, it's damning in the sense that it looks like there's way too much going on. I mean, when you look at the amount of steps that were taken, it just doesn't look like the guy was calling his wife. So it's going to be problematic. I mean, they're going to have to try to dismantle the defense. It's going to have to try to dismantle what's going on with this because.
And again, another reason why this is so critical, guys, why the phone information stands even stronger is because he claimed that he was not there.
It stinks of impropriety, to say the least. And I'm a defense attorney. If I was his attorney, I'd be concerned about that. But, they can't be shocked about it either. This isn't as much as his attorney seemed to have a hard time understanding yesterday during the testimony exactly what the codes meant. This isn't a shock for them. I'm anticipating that they'll have some kind of way to try to offset what I consider to be very damaging evidence.
So again, just to give you an idea, Joseph, 74 steps recorded between 8:05 and 8:09, 283 steps recorded between 9:02 and 9:06 is when we believe after the killings happened. And then at 9:08 is when Alec Murdaugh texts his wife saying he's going to go see his mother. What stands out to you?
Well, I think that, it does. Our colleague mentioned smacking of impropriety. You begin to think about his actions, certainly leading up, but then afterwards, and how in the world would these things be wiped on his end? I do know this. I've gotten a peek at potential witness list in this case, and it is rather robust on the defense's side relative to electronic evidence. I think that's that's something that we're going to be seeing because, as was mentioned, this is a fire that the defense is going to have to put out. They're going to have to address it. And one other thing, prosecution is going to have to do a very good job of keeping this very simple, not getting into the weeds with a lot of the technical data, but really preaching to the jury about what this means at a very basic level.
I agree with you. And talking about one of the complications for the prosecution's case is we don't have the murder weapons, right? Those murder weapons weren't recovered. That brings me to John Bedingfield, who was actually assembled certain weapons for the defendant. Now, before you say, oh my goodness, what are you talking about? Well, this is a family that had a lot of weapons on their property. So the idea put forward by the prosecution is we might not have the murder weapons, but I tell you what we do have. We can match the ammunition that was found near the bodies with the ammunition that was found on different parts of the property, and we can make the assumption that the family murder weapons are the family weapons are the murder weapons. Let's go back to John Bedingfield. This is him actually being cross-examined by the defense from yesterday. Let's listen to where they went.
You mentioned that you and Alec Murdaugh are related? Is that
Yes,
right?
sir.
How are you related?
Our grandmothers were sisters.
And does that make, and your...
I'll call us second cousins. We're cousins.
Your fathers were first cousins, right?
Correct.
Okay. And over the years, you spend time with Alec and the boys?
I have. Not a lot with Alec, mostly with John Marvin.
And have you been camping with Alec and the boys I think that big, Dad used to host a big camp every year?
I have.
And you've been fishing with them?
Not much.
Been hunting with them?
No, sir, not Alec.
Okay.
I have with John.
Right. You've known Alec for quite some time?
My entire life.
Are you, a gift of some $8,000 is a pretty nice gift for two boys, right?
Yes, sir.
Did you ever observe Alec around his sons? What kind of relationship they had?
I have.
And how would you describe their relationship?
It was always good. When he called me, he was excited about getting these for his boys.
And it was a big Christmas for them.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. 1 second, Your Honor. Is it less expensive to buy a 300 blackout directly from Palmetto State Armory rather than have you build one?
It can be, depending on configuration.
And
any accessories that get added. And
okay.
And we're looking now at the first page. Describe to the jury what that is, please.
That is the canceled check from Alec for the original 2 firearms.
For the original 2?
Yes, sir.
And what's the price on that, please? I can bring it to you if you can.
I got it. $9,188.
All right. And what's the date on
Holy. Those are some expensive guns.
that, please?
I'm sorry?
What's the date on that?
12/23/16.
And is this a record that you kept in accordance with your FFL obligations?
The check, no, sir. We retrieved that from my bank.
Yeah. All right. Go to the second page of this exhibit. You recognize that? Tell me what that is, please.
That is the check for the third replacement 300 blackout to Maggie Murdaugh. That's the check she wrote to me.
All right. And what's the amount on that one?
$875.
All right. So the first one for 2 of them was $9,188, correct?
Yes, sir.
And the second one is only $875. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
My man spent over $10K to make this happen. Holy.
The difference between those, that the second one didn't have the optic and didn't have the suppressor. Is that part of the difference?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
All right, we'll talk about that in a second, but right now I want to bring in law and crime correspondent Gigi McKelvey, who is outside of that courthouse in Walterboro, South Carolina. Gigi, it's good to see you. What a morning, right? I mean, what did you take away from, and what did you learn that we didn't know before about Alec Murdaugh's phone?
Good morning, Jesse. Well, we've learned that Alec largely deleted most of the calls he made that night, except for one to Rogan, who had his dog there at the kennels. Other than that, it seems every other phone call he made was deleted from his cell phone.
And what about the the tracking location? Because I thought the amount of steps were interesting. They went through a whole list of time frames and how many steps, and obviously it's not an exact science, but it does tell us something. And the things that I'm thinking about, well, how does that match up to what his alibi is, which is he never went down to the kennels. He fell asleep after dinner, right? That says the last time he saw his family was dinner. Then he goes to visit his mother, then tries to call Maggie, then comes back, goes to the kennels and discovers the body. What does the tracking of the steps on the cell phone tell us?
Well, what's interesting to me is the most steps that he took was between 9:02 and 9:06 p.m., which is when he says he left to go see his mother. That was 283 steps. Apparently, he said he leaves the house, gets in his car. It's a lot of steps from the house to the car, it seems. And everybody kind of was looking around thinking, yeah, that's a long distance to walk just to go to your car.
Gotcha, bitch. There was also information I thought it was interesting about what his general activity is in terms of when he reads messages, which I got to tell you, I didn't even know there was a science to it, but I'm sure if you look at anybody's cell phone, there's probably a pattern. There was a pattern with him. Is it any different during the night in question?
It is. They said that normally he would read text messages anywhere between 5 to 40 minutes after they were received. But the group text, which involved the condition of his father being in the hospital, wasn't read until the next day after the murders.
So walk me through this. I've been of the opinion that the prosecution has done a really strong job of showing when these killings happened. Can you walk us through, based on what we've seen so far in this case, including today, can we be are we pretty sure that the killings happened at around 8:50 p.m.?
Well, yeah, because what you have is Maggie reading her last text at 8:49 p.m. and 27 seconds. Paul's last text that he read was just 30 seconds or so after that, and then no more activity from either phone. So it lets you know sometime after 8:49 p.m. is likely when those murders occurred. And we have Alec leaving the house at 10:06.
Okay, and that is
9:06. I'm sorry.
Right, and I think he calls 911 an hour later at 10:06 or something like that. So walk me through why it's so important they're leading up.
See how the timeline doesn't make sense, guys? They died at around 8:50 p.m., but he didn't call the police until over an hour later, and all these steps in between. What was he doing?
To this, because what the big finale is, not even the big finale, but like the crescendo of their case is going to be that video from Paul, that video that was taken on his phone. What time was that video? Is it 8:44? Is it 8:47? I can't seem to recall. And on the video is allegedly, you can hear Alec Murdaugh with him at the kennels, which would contradict what he told police, but also place him at the crime scene. Walk us through what we should expect from the timing of that video and why it's important.
Well, that was around 8:44 that Paul took that cell phone video of his friend's dog. Now here we have the last text being read just a couple of minutes after that, then no activity. So you have a 3 or 4 minute window there where we know Alec is there by the dog kennels at 8:44. And within 3 or 4 minutes, the last texts are read by both Maggie and Paul, and no more activity from their phone. So I think it kind of starts to get a picture of exactly when those murders could have allegedly happened at the hand of Alec Murdaugh.
Gigi, what's the environment like in the courtroom? I mean, are the jurors...
And I would say it's the most accurate, because the reality is people are glued to their phones. So if the phone locks and it hasn't been open for a significant amount of time, and you know the individual that was deceased in that period of time, it's fair to say it's probably closer to the time the phone locked that individual probably may have been incapacitated. Okay, so, and then on top of that, you have the forensics that show how long they had the time of death. You got the bullet trajectories, you got the wounds, etc. And then you got his multiple steps in the area, contrary to what he had told the police. This case, guys, is heavily circumstantial. And what does a circumstantial case mean? It means that on one piece of evidence alone, it's not enough. However, when you go ahead and put all the pieces of evidence together, it starts to create a puzzle for you, and it illustrates what more than likely happened and how whatever was purported to have happened could not have happened. So in this case, your boy Murdaugh says, I wasn't there, blah, blah, blah. but you find out that he was lying. Okay, well, the fact that he was lying shows that he's not credible, which we're going to talk about here in a second when he takes a stand, which was definitely
I was going to ask you to break that down.
Yeah, we're going to play some of that as well. But the point is that circumstantial evidence, a lot of the times, what it does is it paints a picture that it could not have been except for this scenario that we're displaying for you guys here, because all this evidence by itself might not be strong enough, but it is significant and irrefutable, and we'll put together with other pieces of circumstantial evidence. It paints the picture, right, and unlocks the real story of what happened, contrary to what the defendant is saying. That's the power of circumstantial evidence. You look at the YNW Melly case, which I suggest you guys should all go watch that as well. Very similar case where he's denying killing his two friends, but when you look at the bullet wounds, the bullet trajectory, the lies that they made, the witness testimony, etc., it all contradicts the physical evidence. So you don't have to have a murder weapon, guys, a lot of the times, to be able to prove that someone committed the act.
Paying careful attention to this cell phone evidence. Sometimes it can be a bit dry. Sometimes you can see jurors kind of fading interest and, hopefully not falling asleep. Do they seem attentive?
They seem very attentive. It's a little hard to keep up with the times because they're being said so quickly, but they are all ears. Nobody has really moved. Everybody's kind of just sitting in their seat, hanging on every word of this expert. Very intriguing stuff. And now we actually have a display in the courtroom. We can see the non-graphic exhibits. But yeah, I mean, it's really starting to put a little bit of that picture together, at least nailing down the time of those murders, we think.
I'll tell you, I think today was more interesting than yesterday. There's only so much more I could hear about 300 blackout rounds and different kinds of ammunition. It's important, but again, when you don't have the murder weapons, it's kind of remember what the purpose of it was. This I find very fascinating.
And the reason why they stuck so much on the 300 blackout, guys, probably wondering, why do they care so much about this 300 blackout? Because it's a fairly rare round that isn't used often.
Let's, Gigi, thank you so much. I know you have to jump back in the courtroom. Appreciate your reporting. Great reporting as always. We're going to take a quick break. All
right. So let's go, guys, real quick. We got 1,800 plus y'all, no, 1,770 of y'all in here. Okay. America years. I need you guys to like the video, man. Get us to 1,700 likes, man. We should get 100% engagement here. We're going, and it's 1 o'clock in the goddamn morning. All right. Ain't nobody going as hard on YouTube for you guys. I dropped a video earlier for y'all with SNEAKO. Go check that out on Fresh and Fit, where we talk luxury watches. The day before that, I dropped the Sartorial Shooter interview. So I was in Dubai, not vacationing, but filming a bunch of podcasts. I did another one with I did another podcast, another channel. Oh my God, it's late at night. I can't even remember. And then also I did another pod with Tam Khan and SNEAKO. Guys, like the video. Ain't nobody working harder than us. We got Waka Flocka tomorrow, ISO Kenny tomorrow, and After Hours, giving y'all 3 podcasts tomorrow. So all I'm asking is that you guys like this video here. And man, you're about to record another episode for y'all, probably on the John Benet Ramsey case or maybe declassified case. So yo, like the video, subscribe to the channel. All right. Okay. We should be at 1,700 likes right now. Easy.
I couldn't find the pictures of like the just have like the autopsy one that is leaked, and actually the judge of the case, he warned about the leaked picture. So I just have one leaked picture, and that's it, like Maggie here, and it's just can you see like this screenshot of the trial, the trial computer? So
yeah, all right, we could put the link in the description for them, so they could check it out later.
That's it.
All right, fair enough. I'm not surprised that
everything is censored.
Okay. All right. So this is Alex Murdaugh taking a stand, guys. And this is an excerpt from him taking a stand, which I tell y'all all the time, taking a stand as a defendant is one of the dumbest things that you could do, quite frankly. You stupid. But at the end of the day, the defendant ultimately chooses if they want to take the stand, which he chose to take the stand. Stupid. As a lawyer, I don't know why the hell he took the stand, but I guess he probably looked at it like, yo, it's a Hail Mary. Let me get on the stand anyway, because I want to be able to give the jury my take on the situation. But what does that do? That opens him up to cross-examination from the prosecution, which is typically where you take a big L.
You stupid.
Yeah, really.
Mr. Murdaugh, is that you?
So this is the defense counsel. This is on direct.
On the kennel video at 8:44 p.m. on June 7th, the night Maggie and Paul were murdered.
It is.
Were you in fact at the kennels at 8:44 p.m. on the night Maggie and Paul were murdered?
I was.
Okay, so this is a strategy by the defense. They know that the prosecution is about to attack the hell out of him and call him a liar. So they're getting ahead of it and they're saying, okay, tell us, were you there? Yes, you were. Now they're going to ask him more than likely, and I haven't even seen this, so I'm just predicting here. Let's see if I'm right. They're going to probably ask him an open-ended question and ask him in his own words to explain why he lied so that he can give a sympathy-based response to the jury. Remember, guys, the jury are human beings, okay? If you can appeal to the feels, you might be able to go ahead and beat the real, which in this case, we know that this dude killed his family. So let's keep going.
Did you lie to SLED Agent Owen and Deputy Laura Rutland on the night of June 7th and told them that you stayed at the house after dinner?
I did lie to them.
Did you lie to Agent Owen and Agent Croft on the follow-up interview on June 10th that the last time you saw Maggie and Paul was at dinner?
I did lie to them.
BOMBACLOT! And in the interview of August 11th, did you tell Agent Owen and Agent Croft, did you lie to them by telling them that you were not down at the kennels on that night?
Yes.
BOMBACLOT! Alec, why did you lie to Agent Owen, Agent Croft, and Deputy Rutland about the last?
Now, this is where the defense is going to go ahead and posture and make a stand for why he lied to defend against the prosecution's imminent beating that they're about to give this guy on the stand.
Last time you saw Maggie and Paul?
As my addiction evolved over time, I would get in these situations or circumstances where I would get paranoid thinking. It could be anything that triggered it. It might be a look somebody gave me. It might be a reaction somebody had to something I did. It might be a policeman following me in a car. That night, June 7th, after finding Mags and Paul, don't talk to anybody without Danny with you. All my partners were just repeatedly telling me that. I had a deputy sheriff taking gunshot test from my hands. I'm sitting in a police car with David Owen asking me about my relationship with my wife and my son. And all those things coupled together after finding them, coupled with my distrust for SLED, caused me to have paranoid thoughts. Normally, when these paranoid thoughts would hit me, I could take a deep breath real quick, just think about it, reason my way through it, and just get past it really quickly. On June the 7th, I wasn't thinking clearly. I don't think I was capable of reason.
There's his son in the shot right there, Buster.
And I lied about being down there.
And that is not a joke. That is his real name.
And I'm so sorry that I did. I'm sorry to my son, Buster. I'm sorry to Grandma and Papa T. I'm sorry to both of our families. Most of all, I'm sorry to Mags and Pawpaw. I would never intentionally do anything to hurt either one of them. Ever. Ever.
You continued lying after that night, did you not?
But once I lied, I continued to lie. Yes, sir.
Why?
So just to sum this up for y'all, the reason why he lied was because he was on the drugs, paranoid, and didn't trust the SLED agents. That is why he lied to law enforcement.
Yeah.
BOMBACLOT!
You know, oh, what a tangled web we weave. But once I told a lie, then I told my family, I had to keep lying.
Alex, tell the jury what happened on the evening of June 7th, starting when you met with Paul.
I'd been at work that day, a fairly normal day. Let me start in the morning or?
Sure, start in the morning.
It was just a regular morning. Maggie was leaving to go out of town. She was going to a doctor's appointment, and
all right. So y'all heard the bullshit story, right? Now we're gonna go ahead and go into the cross-examination from the prosecution. This is a 22-minute video, but we're not gonna play the whole thing. We're gonna skim through this thing. Guys, we got 1,700 of y'all watching. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, okay? Most importantly, like the video. Let's get to 1,700 likes. Let's get 100% engagement on this bad boy, all right?
everybody to understand, I do not dispute that I stole money that was not my money, that I misled people to do that I misled people that trusted me.
Alec Murdaugh on the hot seat under cross-examination. Is he telling the truth or is he lying? The jury will have to decide.
And here's the problem when you take the stand when you've already been proven to be a liar. All your testimony is going to be considered what? Stop the cap.
I'm Anjanette Lee.
You're no longer a credible witness.
Levy, and welcome to Law and Crime Sidebar Podcast. One of the first things that Creighton Waters, the Assistant Attorney General representing the state of South Carolina, did when he was cross-examining Alec Murdaugh.
Assistant Attorney General, that's like the second guy in charge of all prosecution in the state of South Carolina.
Was ask him about his claim that he didn't trust SLED, and that's why he lied about being at the kennels on the night of the murders. It's curious because the Murdaugh family has basically been a part of law enforcement for a century in the area. Murdaugh was a volunteer assistant solicitor and carried a couple of badges, one belonging to him and one belonging to his grandfather. He was asked about carrying one when he and his dad showed up at the hospital on the night of the boat crash involving his son, Paul.
I'll show you what's been marked as States 569. And do you recognize the person on the right in that image?
No, sir.
You don't recognize that?
I don't recognize him.
No, I'm asking about that.
Oh, me?
Is that you?
Yeah, it looks like me.
All right. What's hanging out of your pocket in plain view?
Looks like a badge.
You didn't recall that until I just showed you that picture?
No, sir, I did not.
Your Honor, it offers States 569 in the evidence. Okay. Admit it.
So now he's starting to destroy his testimony. Oh, you don't trust police, but you're walking around with a badge.
Gotcha, bitch.
Here we go.
That's you in the white shirt, is that right?
Yes, sir, it is.
And this is the badge hanging out of your pocket. You remember which, is that correct?
Looks to be, yes, sir.
Which badge is that? Which one of the two? Do you remember?
Nah, you can't tell from here.
Okay. And why'd you have it hanging out of your pocket like that?
I don't remember having that. No, I don't know.
You don't remember that?
I don't remember that, no, sir.
Did you generally walk around with your badge hanging out of your pocket?
Generally speaking, no, sir, I did not.
Or only when you wanted some advantage from it?
Did
you want some advantage from wearing it like that?
Did I hang it out in my pocket when I wanted an advantage?
Yes.
I may have.
Okay.
I certainly may have.
All right. What advantage did you want?
When?
Then.
I don't even recall this, Mr. Waters, but if I was wanting some advantage, as you say it, I guess, and I don't remember this, but I guess I would want, as I said, a badge has a warming effect with other law enforcement. And so if I was seeking any advantage, as you say, then I guess that would be what it was.
All right, so we got the badge.
See how we danced around it, but he basically came to the final conclusion, like, I want preferential treatment because I'm a Murdaugh.
Maybe accidentally hanging out of your pocket, you won't concede that you did that purposefully.
I mean, Mr. Waters, if you want me to say I did that on purpose, I don't have a problem with that. I'm saying I don't remember that. All right. So can I tell you that I did that on purpose? No, sir, I can't. Can I say that this happened by accident? No, sir, I can't. What I can say is I don't remember it, and that's not how I would normally, that's just not how I would normally, that's just not, that's not something I did. That's not a normal thing. So I don't know.
When asked by Creighton Waters, Alec Murdaugh says he was aware there was a criminal investigation underway into the investigation of the boat crash and the claim that Alec Murdaugh tried to influence the witnesses, the victims of that boat crash, by getting them to
Angie was right.
not talk to law enforcement, among other things. Another really big moment on cross-examination happened when Alec Murdaugh claimed that he wanted to meet with law enforcement after his arrest to tell them about his opioid addiction and other things involving the financial crimes. But Creighton Waters said there was no such meeting requested. Alec Murdaugh didn't want to do that, and he simply changes his story to fit the evidence.
And Mr. Waters, just to be clear, I was begging for a meeting with y'all to try to bring this to a close, to talk to y'all about everything up until the time that y'all charged me with hurting Maggie and Paul. Now, after that point in time, I stopped, obviously.
You're claiming that you were begging for a meeting and information, but you admit information was never conveyed that you wanted to change your story after multiple interviews with law enforcement about what happened that night, including the most important fact of all, which is when the last time you supposedly saw your wife and son alive was.
I don't know exactly what was conveyed or not because I wasn't part of it. All I know is what I was trying to do was to sit down. I understood to bring all this to a close that y'all would want me to sit down and go through all of these financial things, all of these things that I've done wrong, and to try to bring that to a close.
Yeah, seriously.
Stop the cap.
He ain't doing that. He's a lawyer. He knows anything that he says to the police will be used against him in a court of law. He's not stupid. He ain't doing that.
I was repeatedly trying to sit down with y'all.
The reality is, Mr. Murdaugh, is the reason why no one's ever heard that before is because you had to sit in this courtroom and hear your family and your friends, one after the other, come in and testify that you were on that kennel video. So you, like you've done so many times over the course of your life, had to back up and make a new story that kind of fit with the facts that can't be denied. Isn't that true, sir?
No, sir, that's not true.
You've done that over and over again over the years with all of this that we've been talking about, haven't you?
I've done what over and over again?
The second that you're confronted with facts that you can't deny, you immediately come up with a new lie. Isn't that correct?
Mr. Waters, have we established I have lied many times, but I can't sit here and tell you that. What are you talking about? Facts that I can't deny? That I would disagree with that proposition that you're putting out. That was what I did all the time. But in doing that, I admit again that I've lied to people that trusted me.
So we can agree that the prosecution and law enforcement and so many of your friends and family heard for the first time your story about the kennels yesterday after all these weeks of testimony. Can we agree on that?
That law enforcement, my partners, and my friends heard me say that for the first time. Yes, I agree with that.
I think everyone watching this case has been wondering, where did all of the money go? The between $8 million and $10 million that Alec Murdaugh has admitted to stealing from clients as he's testified. He was questioned about his lifestyle and whether or not he considered himself living a wealthy lifestyle.
Would you concede with me that not all of this money was going to pills at this point in time?
Guys, 1.5K likes. We're going to finish this video off strong. I need y'all to get me to 1.7K likes, 100% engagement before you close the video out. All right.
No.
All this stolen money.
No, I doubt that it was.
Okay. And it was being used to support your wealthy lifestyle.
Well, I haven't looked at all these documents to know exactly what was being spent where, but here's what I do know. I know that I was making a bunch of money, and I should have had more money than I did. And I know that I was spending a bunch of money on pills. And I know that, you know, I don't remember in 2011 if those I just can't remember those land deals. But, you know, if I spent money on other things, I don't dispute that either. I just haven't looked at the records.
Okay. But you would at least concede that the money you were stealing was going to support your ever expanding wealthy lifestyle. Would you concede that?
Did all of the money I stole?
Any of it, Mr. Murdaugh?
Any of it? Yeah, I would certainly agree that there was money that didn't go to buy just pills.
All right. And you would concede that even though you were generating millions of dollars in fees, that was not enough for you. Would you concede that?
If by concede that, you mean was I also stealing money that I shouldn't have? Yes, sir. I agree with that. I've said that repeatedly.
We know that Alec Murdaugh has stolen from many clients. One of them was a teenager. Creighton Waters questioned Alec Murdaugh about that.
Let's talk about, let's start with Natasha Thomas. Do you remember her?
I do.
How old was she when she became your client?
I'm not sure. She was young.
She was a teenager?
I'm not sure, but I know she was young.
She was underage, correct?
Yes, she was underage. I do believe that.
All right.
In fact, I know that.
And can you tell me what she was injured in this wreck in an automobile wreck, correct?
Yes.
And the company Michelin, that was one of the defendants for an alleged tire issue. Is that correct?
That is correct.
All right. And do you remember how much Natasha Thomas got in that particular case? And I can show it to you on 334. Do you remember how much she got?
As a gross settlement, I believe it shows $2 million. $2 million.
$2 million. All right. And how much were your or PMPD's fees that would be attributed to you in that out of that $2 million?
$800,000.
$800,000.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Excuse me.
Yes, sir. All right. And so that would be $800,000 in fees that would get attributed to you. That has nothing to do with the money that you subsequently stole from that teenager. Correct?
Now look. Oh, man, they no sign else.
Gotcha, bitch. The $800,000 is different from money that I stole?
Yes.
That's correct.
All right. So you got $800,000 attributed to you with the firm, but that was not enough. You also stole money from that teenager. Is that correct?
That is correct.
All right. When you did that, did you sit down with her much as you sat down with this jury and explain to her what was going on while you were stealing her money?
That would be the normal process, but
Nope.
I certainly don't remember specifically doing that.
That would be the normal process, correct?
That would be. It may be a little different with a teenager, but certainly, I mean.
You would sit down with them across the table and go through these documents, correct?
If that would not be abnormal, yes, sir.
All right. And then you would explain to them what was going on and how they were getting everything they were entitled to, correct?
If I was the one doing it, yes, sir.
And you would look them in the eye while you did that, correct?
It wouldn't be unusual for me to look them in the eye.
While you were doing some fast talking to a teenager, correct?
I certainly was not telling her the truth. I don't know if I was talking fast or slow, but I wasn't telling the truth.
Creighton Waters
That boy took the money from her, bro.
also asked Alec Murdaugh about what he was doing the weekend before the murders. And basically, Murdaugh and his wife Maggie were in Colombia for a baseball game, but Alec Murdaugh was spending a lot of time in the hotel.
Guys, we're still at 1.5K likes, man. Get it to 1,700, goddammit. Come on, man. We're still going hard in the paint. Filming another video. Waka Flocka tomorrow. ISO Kenny tomorrow. After Hours tomorrow. Vegas this week. We're going to film a bunch of content with a bunch of creators out there in Vegas, man. Ain't nobody working harder than us. These bum-ass reaction channels that talk shit. Apple and Peach. Moist Critical Loser. Fucking Layback. You know what I mean? These fucking dorks. These guys are all bums. We surpass them for a reason. We go hard in the paint in different genres. We don't just do stupid reactions. We cover crime. We cover how to make money. We bring celebrities on, teach you how to become better men, teach you how to get girls, teach you guys how to fucking get your shit together, man. #1 fucking podcast in the world when it comes to male self-improvement. Doesn't even come close. Book is in stores. Why women deserve less. Ain't nobody going as hard as us. Yeah, I'm gonna talk my shit. So like the goddamn video, get us a 1.7, goddamn it, because we work harder than all these pussy motherfuckers, and y'all know it too, man.
And Waters suggested he may have been doing that because he was agitated.
All right. Tell the jury, where were you when these texts were taking place?
I was in the hotel,
And what city were you in?
Columbia, South Carolina.
And where?
I'm not exactly sure where they were when they first started, but they would have been somewhere between the hotel, a restaurant, and the ball field.
All right. But when you send this text on June 6th at 11:41, you say y'all in seat already, correct?
Yes, that's what I did say.
All right. And they say, yeah, Maggie says, yes, we like these seats. Is that correct?
All right, that's correct. I didn't notice that. So at that point in time, they are in the ballpark.
All right. And then you respond, better than last night. They extended checkout to 1. Going to come then. Is that correct?
That's what that text says. Yes, sir.
All right. So you're back at the room. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Later on, you text after she asked you to bring a charger and says, Muggy, you text, I'm dreading it. See you in a little bit. Is that correct?
That's what I said. Yes, sir.
She responds, don't come, but then asks about the charger and says it's hot. Is that correct?
Mr. Waters, yes, I assume you were reading it exactly. So, yes, sir.
All right. She eventually responds, not crowded, but not the place to come if you don't feel well. Very hot and muggy. We are inside, sitting at the bar, very nice indoors. Is that correct?
That's what it says. Yes, sir.
And then you respond, Algie, by accident, they are making me leave, so I'll see y'all in a few. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And who was making you leave where?
It was past checkout time at the hotel.
After you'd gotten an extended checkout, correct?
It appears so.
And the reality is that you were in that hotel suffering from withdrawals when that's going on. Is that correct?
I was beginning to. Yes, sir.
All right. And the reality is that your wife and your son were on you at that time period because they had found pills just a few weeks prior.
No, sir, that's not correct.
Then Creighton Waters moved on to the lead up to that kennel video on the day of the murders. The all important,
which is not true because they definitely did see the pills, and Paul had texted him saying, hey, mom found the pills and she's not happy. So that was
stop the cap
from him.
Kennel video taken at 8:44 p.m. Murdaugh talked about eating dinner with Paul and Maggie before Paul and Maggie went down to the kennels.
And what did you do after that?
I came back out, sat out on the couch to eat dinner.
What time was that?
A few minutes later, I mean, it didn't take me long to shower.
And you say Paul was already eating at that point?
He was.
You say he left first.
What I said is he got up and he finished eating and he left our immediate vicinity. Now, I don't believe he left at that point, given what I've looked at time records and all. I believe that he was around the house for a little bit longer.
And just to be clear again,
But I didn't see him.
All of this detail was people were hearing for the first time yesterday, like we talked about before, correct?
Say that again.
All of this detail that we're going through right now is not anything that you related before. We're all hearing this for the first time yesterday.
Objection, Your Honor. Fifth Amendment privilege.
Objection is overruled.
So yes, I did not tell law enforcement.
That's his future.
Actually, I don't think law enforcement asked me what I did when we first went to the house, but I clearly lied to law enforcement about what I said yesterday.
Okay. And all of this, the last time you supposedly saw your wife and child, all of this detail, you as a lawyer and a prosecutor didn't think that was important to offer on your own?
Oh, I think it's important.
You told this jury how cooperative you've been and how much information you wanted to provide, but you left out the most important parts, didn't you?
I left out that. I sure did.
You don't consider that one of the most important parts?
I think it's important.
Now, since the murders happened, Alec Murdaugh has never mentioned being down at the kennels with Paul and Maggie. But on the stand, he had to admit it because his voice is on the video. We've all heard it. That kennel video happened and was taken by Paul at 8:44 p.m. Nobody knew about that video until March of 2022, almost a year after the murders. Alec Murdaugh says that he took that chicken out of Bubba's mouth and then went straight back to the house. Prosecutors, though, say 5 minutes later, Paul and Maggie were murdered. Listen to Alec Murdaugh's explanation.
Oh, it is going to be good.
Down there for a couple minutes, I think you've said now, before you get off the golf cart?
Yes, sir.
All right. And where do you go at that point?
I take the chicken from Bubba.
All right. So you get up?
Well, I mean, Bubba's come out there with this chicken. Showing us, hey, I caught this chicken. And I take the chicken from Bubba.
Bubba came up to the golf cart?
He came up by the golf cart. He came up to Maggie and I, which I was on the golf cart. She's by the golf cart. I mean, he's not coming to the golf cart, but he's coming to us.
Is this during the kennel video or is this after the kennel video?
Well, no, you hear Maggie say he's got a chicken. Okay. That's what she's talking about is Bubba caught a chicken.
All right. All right. So is the kennel video still going on before you go get the chicken? I mean, you've heard it, correct? You've heard it in this courtroom.
I don't know exactly. I don't know exactly, but in close timing to Bubba coming out of those woods with the chicken, I got up and took the chicken from him.
So did you say goodbye, according to your new story?
Did I say goodbye?
Yeah.
Bye.
Did you talk to them at all, or did you just get the chicken, put it on there, jump on there, and just take off?
I wouldn't have just gone off. I mean, I would have said, I'm leaving.
Okay.
Did I say goodbye or bye?
And again, go ahead.
I mean, there would have been some, there would have been some exchange. I'm not staying here.
Well, what was that exchange? I mean, you've had such a photographic memory about these new stories. What happened here?
It's not. I can't tell you the exact words.
You don't remember your conversation after you put that chicken up? Did y'all talk about the chicken?
No, I don't think we did.
Did you talk with Paul about Cash's tail?
After the chicken?
Yeah.
No, I know I didn't do that.
Did you tell Maggie I'm going to go check on him?
At that point, no, I don't
Did you
think
tell
I did.
Maggie, it's hot out here, if they gonna go back?
I certainly would have said something to that effect.
All right. So, unlike everything else with the news story, you just can't recall what that would have been.
Well, you know, I mean, you're making that categorization. I think there's other things about that I can't remember. But if the question is, can I remember exactly what words I used when I gave Maggie some salutation when I'm leaving? I can't tell you what those were.
All right.
But it would have been something to the effect of, I'm leaving.
All right. Okay. But you would concede that there was,
Man,
It's over 9,000!
these lie levels.
at least some conversation, that you wouldn't have just put the chicken on there and ran back to the golf cart and taken off. correct?
Without talking to Maggie, I would have never done that.
And that's it for the top.
Incredible. All right. So, needless to say, my boy ended up getting, found guilty. Okay. Let's see the verdict here. Oh, hold on.
Docket number 2022 GS 15-00592, the State of South Carolina, County of Colleton, in the Court of General Sessions in the term of 2022, July, the State versus Richard Alexander Murdaugh, defendant, indictment for murder, SC Code 16-3-0010, CDR Code 0116. Okay. Guilty verdict. Signed by the forelady, 3/2/23. Docket number 2022-GS-15-00593, the State of South Carolina, County of Colleton, in the Court of General Sessions, the July term of 2022. The State versus Richard Alexander Murdaugh, defendant, indictment for murder, SC Code 16-3-0010, CDR Code 0116, verdict guilty, signed by the forelady, date 3/2/23. Docket number 2022-GS-15-00595, the State of South Carolina, County of Colleton, Court of General Sessions, July term 2022. The State versus Richard Alexander Murdaugh, defendant, indictment for possession of a weapon during the commission of a violent crime, SC Code -16-23-0490, CDR Code 0549, verdict guilty.
This is why you don't listen to Pop Smoke before you kill your family. Papa go retarded.
Signed by the foreperson of the jury, date 3/2/23. Docket number 2022 GS-15-00594, the State of South Carolina, County of Colleton, Court of General Sessions, July term 2022. The State versus Richard Alexander Murdaugh, defendant, indictment for possession of a weapon during the commission of a violent crime, SC Code 16-23-0490, CDR Code 0549, verdict guilty. Signed by the foreperson of the jury.
He's like, damn.
3/2/23.
He was like, guilty on all counts. Fuck. Bro, this is what happens, man. My man was playing fucking Pop Smoke Invincible. I feel invincible. Papa Perker go retarded. And then he just goes in and starts shooting crazy. Bang! Next thing you know, bang! He's like, hey. You know what I'm saying? He thought he was invincible. Next thing you know, South Carolina's like, nah, bro, you are not invincible.
Denied.
Yeah, facts. You going to jail now.
Denied.
Oh, Lord. And then it gets even crazier. He gets sentenced. Oh, hold on.
Prison today, the morning after the jury found him guilty of murdering his wife and son. It took
hold on.
jurors
My bad, guys. Let me share a screen.
less than 3 hours to hand down their
less than 3 hours
conviction. But what was it like inside the jury?
That was easy.
As that and much more from South Carolina.
It's Alex Murdaugh as you've never seen him before, in a prison jumpsuit and flip-flops and shackled. And he went down swinging, still insisting he's innocent of the crime that shocked America.
I'm innocent.
He still got that Pop Smoke playing in his head. I feel invisible. Let me get into it.
I would never hurt my wife, Maggie, and I would never hurt my son, Pawpaw.
Murdaugh's son, Buster, and brother John Marvin were in court as Judge Clifton Newman blasted the disgraced attorney.
You've engaged in such duplicitous conduct here in the courtroom.
He telling the judge, wait.
What the fuck?
Here on the witness stand. And I know you have to see Paul and Maggie during the night times when you're attempting to go to sleep. I'm sure they come and visit you.
All day and every night.
And then Judge Newman said, and I bet you remember the last time they looked you in the eyes. I got chills down my spine.
The judge gave Murdaugh a chance to say more.
Judge, I tell you again, I respect this court, but I'm innocent.
The judge wasn't having it.
And it might not have been you. It might have been the monster you become when you take 15, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 opioid pills.
Then the sentence.
I'll pop a poker, go retarded. He even said, the judge is like, maybe it wasn't you, it was the guy after. Yeah, he was listening to that Pop Smoke before he did. I'm telling you, man.
I sentence you for a term of the rest of your natural life. And we do file an inside edition.
I spoke exclusively to Judge Newman today.
Enjoyed the media, enjoyed everyone. It's been a great experience.
Your Honor.
For me, not so much for some others.
Today, we're getting a fascinating look inside the jury room. After 6 weeks of testimony, it took less than 3 hours for them to announce the guilty verdict. Juror Craig Moyer spoke to Good
that's fast, bro.
Morning America.
Did you feel like he was a liar?
A good liar, but not good enough.
He says the juror's initial vote was 9 guilty, 2 not guilty, and 1 not sure.
What was your vote?
Guilty.
From the start?
Yes.
He says it only took about 45 minutes of discussion to reach a unanimous verdict. He says this was the most crucial piece of evidence. The kennel video that placed Murdaugh at the scene minutes before the murders. Murdaugh admitted on the stand that it was in fact his voice, despite earlier denials that he was there.
When he said it was him, were you surprised?
I was very surprised.
We spoke to prominent jury consultant Dr. Jo Ellen Demetrius.
I really believe that maybe not consciously, but subconsciously, these jurors probably had the thought that, you know, this man has pulled the wool over our eyes and other people's eyes for years, and now it's got to stop.
The jury's quick decision caught everyone by surprise.
Breaking news coming into the Situation Room right now. The jury has reached a verdict in the Alex Murdaugh murder trial.
Guilty verdict.
As soon as the verdicts were read, Murdaugh was slapped in handcuffs. He mouthed, "I'm sorry, I love you," to Buster, who showed zero emotion. Then,
damn.
Wow.
Bro, I think he knows his dad did it, bro. I think he knows. He popped
just
that
knew
perk and went
that-
retarded.
Yeah, he just knew that.
He knew it, bro.
Yeah.
Murdaugh was led away.
We were all stunned by how quick this verdict came in. The one thing that I said to you on the set yesterday is, I'm not certain what the verdict is, but I'm certain that they're going to deliberate for a while. All right?
I thought the timing was rather shocking, actually.
And there's an intriguing what-if question today regarding the jury. According to one published report, the juror who was removed at the 11th hour yesterday could have caused a hung jury if she had remained. She said he was not guilty and there was nothing anyone could do to change her mind.
Bro, of course it's a female, man. Bro.
BOMBACLOT!
Guys, booking stores, why women deserve less, bro? Because they go with their feelings instead of what's really going on. Book is in stores. Why Women Deserve Less. You can get it in paperback or hardcover. Currently in
I
stores
waited
right now.
for the fucking hardcover, man.
Or yeah, get the hardcover, guys. It's a lot better. It's better quality. And it's also on Kindle for $10 if you want as well. If you're you know, one of them boys, if you know what I'm saying. Or if your money's tight. And Audible version coming very soon. But this is why, bro. Real talk, man.
Yeah, listen.
Can't be
I got
emotional.
a question.
Go ahead.
Does those jury can ever get bribed for the
It's happened before, yeah.
because for being so wealthy, you
Yeah.
would think like he will pay some people, right?
Yeah, it could be, yeah. So it's happened before where there's been like jury tampering for sure. It's definitely happened before. So yeah, guys, get the book. Why Women Deserve Less. All right, guys. For jurors like this that aren't able to divorce their emotions from facts.
The report claims she was dug in. She would have hung the jury.
She didn't express an opinion. To us, she said she was open. She had made up her mind.
Several of the jurors returned today to watch the sentencing, and as they left, they were applauded by bystanders.
Murdaugh's lawyers say they plan to appeal.
Yeah, everybody knows. Yeah, of course they're going to appeal. But all right, guys, that summarizes the entire case. Angie, what are your final thoughts?
Well, we didn't mention the allegations that were on Buster. I don't know if you know, but like people were thinking that he killed a teenager back in 2015.
Yes.
You heard that?
Yes, the guy that was found on the side of the kid that was found on the side of the road that they were also able
Yeah.
to attribute. So how many deaths is that? We got the mother and the son, we got the girl on the boat, we got the housekeeper, and now we got this fifth guy, which we didn't cover because it didn't have too much to do with this story.
Yes.
But yeah, that there was a random there was a teenager that was found, a young man found on the road awkwardly, and they weren't sure if he got hit by a car or if he was murdered, but that also was tied back to the Murdaughs as well.
Yes.
So I left that out because it wasn't really too relevant to the story. But what are your final thoughts, Angie?
No, people think that he did it, but yeah, I mean that's why it's called like the Murdaugh murders. But yeah, I don't know, man. Yeah, I mean it's obvious. Like any other case, is another family annihilators. What's the word?
Annihilators?
Annihilate. I can't even say it, but yeah,
Okay.
he's another one.
Fair enough. All right, I'll read these chats real quick and then we'll close this thing out. Let's see here. It's Dutch Boy. We'll make a bullet travel like this. Is it the bone? I don't.
That was
understand
probably when
question.
you explained like
Yeah,
the bullet.
that
yeah.
question was answered. Hey, Myron, big fan of the show. Was wondering if you could cover the Marcus Wesson case in Fresno, California.
Actually, I was reading that case
Oh, you
just
were?
now.
Okay.
Yes, man. Anthony Carrillo. Man, I'm disgusted. This case is so crazy.
Okay.
I-
Look it up.
Crazy.
Brian in Edge. Hey, yo, Edge, put down in your book Ash Vlogs by Next Ball. I'm sure the chat can agree on this. What?
Right, again, guys, like don't put requests on the chat. I mean, you can, but like I won't remember, so it's better if you leave it on the comment section.
Are you doing any more serial killers also? Yeah, Golden State Killer's
Yes.
probably going to be next.
Yes.
Golden State Killer's probably going to be the next
Golden
one.
State Killer.
Yeah, unless there's something else that's higher up on the totem pole.
Of course, we have Ed Gein and Edmund Kemper, which I've been telling you we do.
Who?
We need to Edmund Kemper, Ed Kemper, and Ed Gein.
Okay. I don't know who Ed Camper is. What
You do.
about who's up?
It's
Who's up higher on the list? Golden State Warrior or Berkowitz?
What?
Berkowitz is the son of Sam.
Yes. He's also on the list. What was your question?
No, I said who's higher on the list. Like, do they want Golden State Killer first or Berkowitz, son of Sam?
Probably the Golden State Killer. Yeah.
Maybe maybe I'll do a poll right now. Can you do a shit? Okay, I'll do a poll. Hey Myron, I've watched your podcast for 2 years, and I thank you for everything you've taught me. Never a Ninja Watcher, thank you for the video. FNF fam. Also, I'm in college, about to get a second job. Good stuff, my friend. Chief Keef goes, Momo Murdaugh, tell me what you gonna do when there ain't nowhere to hide. Y'all miss my Espanol super chat. Did I? I don't think so. 99 financial crimes, 99 financial crimes, but his family ain't one. By the way, the Pocket Town is a Chicago gang / hood. Michael Meestroke, thank you very much for $1. Jiru, any tips to not be shy when speaking to new people? Just do it often and you'll get used to it. And then I think we're caught up here with the chats. Cool. And then let me do a quick poll for y'all real fast. Let's see here. You know what? I'll give you guys a chance here. I will do a couple of polls. And and I'll get it going right now. Start a poll. So I'll give you guys a couple ones. Next serial killer. Okay, we're gonna go Son of Sam. Okay, who's the other one? Son of Sam. Ed Gein.
Ed Kemper.
What? Ed Camper.
Kemper. Yes.
Ed Camper.
Edmund Kemper.
Okay, Ed Camper. Okay, and then who else is another one that people want?
And too many.
And if you guys are wondering, Ed Gein is who Texas Chainsaw Massacre was modeled after.
Well, we also have the Amazon review killer.
Okay.
I don't really know his name. I don't know how to
Amazon
pronounce
killer.
it.
All right.
Yes, Amazon review killer.
We
We have Aileen Wuornos pending as well.
yeah. Let me put her in here. Instead of that.
There's so many.
Okay, let's see what they say. I don't even know who Ed Camper is. Oh no.
You do need to know though. It's
You know
the
what? Let me put Golden State Killer instead of
co-ed
him.
killer. Who's co-ed killer? That guy was
Because
crazy.
these guys are way more famous. These four that I'm putting. All right, let's see what the audience says right now. I just put the poll up. Poll is live, guys. Poll is live. Let's see what y'all say. Holy shit. Okay.
Okay, I'm voting.
It's flying. It is literally all over the place right now. I'll go ahead and share the screen with y'all real fast. What the chat is saying. Real time.
Yes, real time, guys. These are the ones that stay until the end.
Yeah, let's see here. they gave Aileen Wuornos the last. They gave her 0, bro. I guess women deserve less for real. For y'all, huh? Okay. Oh wow. Okay, y'all want Ed Gein.
But
Okay.
it's the only woman, and also, did you put Ed Kemper though?
I'll keep it 1,000 with y'all. Aileen Wuornos has a way better story than Ed Gein. But if y'all want Ed Gein, we'll do Ed Gein.
You didn't put Ed Kemper,
Nah, I didn't have space.
right?
So I put the most. These guys are probably of the serial killers left. We already did the big ones: Ted Bundy, all that shit. But of the serial killers that are left,
I'm gonna vote for Aileen. Like I already saw her story.
I think her story is better than Ed Gein, to be honest. But if y'all want, okay.
Well, women killers are way different from men killers
Yeah.
for many reasons. But basically, it's because women kill for a motive, men kill for compulsion. So yeah.
Yep. Yeah. All right. Well, I guess in this case, yeah, it looks like it's gonna be Ed Gein. I did the Zodiac already. I see some of you guys put Zodiac. For all y'all that are screaming Aileen, vote, bruh. Vote.
Yeah.
Like y'all in the chat saying Aileen. Then click Aileen on the poll, man. That's why it's there. Trying to get y'all vote, but it looks like Ed Gein is the winner, man. 49%. He's smacking everybody. Nobody else can really compete.
Well, it's very famous. He was, I think he was the one that inspired the. Yeah.
Yeah,
you
he did.
put it
Yeah,
there.
inspired. Yeah, he inspired the
Chainsaw.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I mean, very loosely. Like Ed Gein wasn't a big humbling like retard, like running around with the actual chainsaw.
He was a retard, I think.
He was. Nah, he actually wasn't.
He was. That's what I'm saying. Like he was literally a retard.
No, he wasn't. The character in Texas Chainsaw, Leatherface, was, yes.
No. The guy was had something in his mind.
He was just crazy after his mom died, but he wasn't retarded.
Wasn't?
Yeah, he
You
just
sure?
had like a downward spiral after.
I'll look it up though.
Or he could be like Murdaugh. Papa thought Brooke could go retarded.
He was the one that he's the one that's got a museum, right? Let me check.
He might. Yeah, it looks like Ed Gein is number 1. All right. I get y'all want Ed Gein. All right, cool. That's who's gonna be the next serial killer.
He's the one that's got a museum because he will make furniture with.
Yeah, he made furniture with body parts.
Yes.
Yeah,
crazy.
that's where they took the Leatherface scheme from, was like using body parts to accentuate the house and wearing it and shit like that.
Yeah.
So, all right, looks like it's Ed. All right, y'all want Ed? The people have spoken. Yeah, y'all have spoken. All right, guys. With that said, man, we gave y'all a 3-hour plus podcast, 3.5 hours. I need y'all to go ahead and like the video. All right, we got 1,600 likes, but I know there's a bunch of you that haven't liked. So if you guys start liking now, we'll probably hit 1,700. Well, actually, Angie, I'll give you the last. Well, before I give you the last word, get the book Why Women Deserve Less. We got 3 podcasts tomorrow. I think one at 5 or 6 with ISO Kenny. Then we got Waka Flocka Flame. Then we got and then we got obviously After Hours, 3 podcasts in a row for y'all. like the video. Go check out the episode I did with SNEAKO. That dropped early on Fresh Fit. And I did an interview with Sartorial Shooter. So, yeah, man, content coming out all over the place. We're going to go to Vegas next week. We're going to do collabs with Graham Stephan and his brother, Jack Selby. While I break the computer. Sorry. We're going to also get with Ryan Pineda. And then we're also going to go ahead and interview your boy, Dan Blazarian. And then also we're going to go ahead and do an interview with Rolo Tomasi and Marco Sartain for Access Vegas. Who works harder than us? Nobody. All right? There's a reason why I talk my shit. No one comes close. We're the #1 men's podcast in the fucking world. All these other dudes are bums. Y'all know it. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Asshole and Bleach and Moist Loser and fucking Fat Back. Bro, they are bums. They don't even come close. Bro, I put out more videos than them niggas on this channel, man. Fuck out of here. Bums. Anyway, Angie, give you the last
You
word.
feel better with that?
Yeah, I
after
had to just go on that rant because they've been going after SNEAKO and it's annoying me.
Right. Okay, good. Yeah, guys, again, don't leave your request on the chat. Leave it on the comment section, please. And also, for those of you that have been requesting and have been DMing me, I have everything written down. I've been reading all of your DMs and all of your comments. I also catch the premieres with you, so I keep it. Be there in the chats with you, also sharing my thoughts and everything. And like, yeah, reading your opinions on everything. And I'm also cooking something. I don't want Myron to drop my Instagram anymore because you guys are weird as fuck. And I don't want anyone else follow me now anymore. Yes. So I'll probably just open a Fetty account or another account.
Her Instagram is so angelical with 2 A. Send a dick pic.
Que ladilla. Bueno, X. Yeah, so I'll be cooking something and yeah, that's it. That's it.
Cool. All right, guys. Like the video. Catch you guys on the next episode of Fed It. Love y'all, man. We gave y'all a huge breakdown. I'm gonna go ahead and go through and put the timestamps in this bad boy. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed it, man. This is the best breakdown on the Murdaugh case. Detailed timestamps coming in, so you'll have a one-stop shop to get everything from A to Z. Love you guys. Like the video. Peace. I was a special agent with Homeland Security Investigations, okay, guys? HSI. The cases that I did mostly were human smuggling and drug trafficking. No one else has these documents, by the way.
Here's what FedEx covers.
Dr. Lafredo confirmed lacerations due to stepping on glass.
Murder investigations.
You see him reaching in his jacket. You don't know, and he's positioning. Been on February 13, 2019. You're facing